Hello, everybody, and welcome to Unscripted Access, episode number 93. You're here with your host, Nick McCandless. On this week's show, we have Bronson Fiore
The Heroes of the Storm.
and Anthony Ta.
Hello.
This is the Pre-E3 2014 podcast. We do this show every single year. What makes this year different, though, is the entire staff will be going to E3 this year. I know the entire staff is pumped. This is going to be my fourth E3, and I'm still extremely excited. So I can only imagine how Bronson, Anthony, Kyrie, and Brendan are. It's going to be their very first time. They'll be attending both the Sony and Microsoft press conference, and we'll be covering E3 all 3 days. It's going to be crazy. How excited are you guys?
I am super duper pumped. Like that, covering E3 has been like one of those dreams. You gotta remember, I started writing about video games. The first time I started writing about them was in 2005. So, been a long fucking time coming. Almost 10 years now. So, I'm stoked.
How about you, Anthony?
For me, it feels kind of surreal because it's like you do this for years and you always think about, oh wow, what is it like for the people to not only be at the press conferences but actually play the games that, before they come out, which everyone dreams of. Because like, oh man, say for example, in the past you would say, oh my goodness, I am super excited for Super Smash Brothers. Actually, that's not a good example, but you're excited for some particular game. And the press are fortunate enough to get to play a alpha or beta build of a game, whereas you have to sit and wait for another few months. So you always could dream of being able to be that lucky person to sit and play that game for the first time, and to actually finally reach that point is it's just a dream. It feels kind of surreal. Like we will be on our way to Los Angeles in a few days.
It's really hard to fucking fathom because, my brain understands paying for tickets, paying for a flight, and going to PAX or going to, Anime Expo. It understands that because that is a thing that you can attend as a guest. But, to go to a trade show for games as a writer after just doing this for fucking ever, and that being one of the dreams, fuck yeah, fuck yes. So
yeah, it's one thing, it's just gonna be awesome. I've went to E3, like I said, every year, but this year I'm most excited for because this is going to be the very first time I've had the entire staff there, which is just going to be awesome. So definitely looking forward to it. I know that Anthony, Bronson, Kyrie, and Brendan are in for a treat. I can talk from personal experience. And you can expect a lot of good coverage from us. We've been hosting meetings and had a big meeting right before we started this podcast to make sure that we have our coverage plans straight.
Meetings.
Yeah, so we're going to have a lot of on-camera interviews. We're going to have a lot of editorials. We're going to have a lot of podcasts. So, I mean, what's going to be different between us and a lot of these other websites? A lot of these websites are just going to be copy and pasting news. You're not going to see that. If Sony announces something during the press conference, we're not going to put up a post on the website. Why? Because you're probably watching it on TV or you heard about it from IGN first. So why would we even waste the time posting it? So what we're going to be doing is all of our E3 coverage, and this is what we've noticed with the transition. You guys should have noticed with the transition of our website. You don't go to our website for video game news. Why are we going to post video game news when every other site copy and paste the exact same thing? We don't do that. When every single time you come to our website, you're going to find content that is produced and owned by us. You will not find it anywhere else unless someone links to us or embeds our video. But it's content created by us, and it's going to stay this way with E3. So every single E3 post you see will be something personalized. It'll be an article written by one of our staff members. It'll be an interview with one of our staff members. It'll be a podcast with our staff members. It'll be impressions by our staff members. That's what makes our site what we are.
Ironically enough, what kicks off our coverage is, I won't say new staff member, but new contributor. John Macaluso is going to be doing his E3 memories article. I'm currently in the process of doing a proofread of it. and then this podcast. And then and so many websites do the news thing, right? Like just IGN does the news thing, fucking Game Trailers does the news thing, GameSpot, Screw Attack, and like very few people do what we're gonna be doing. In fact, the only people I've seen do it really are like Giant Bomb does it, and they're I think a couple of the smaller sites do it, but most of them are just news. But like, I mean, if you really want that news, like chances are you'll read our Twitter feeds, and I imagine we'll post some of it there. Like I imagine that some of you.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely be tweeting throughout the day.
Yeah, yeah, that's.
Well, of course, anyone who's been to one of these shows, cell phone reception's terrible.
Fucking.
So,
I remember at PAX, my first PAX Prime, my phone only worked in one spot in the convention center. Just one spot. Like it was just I had to stand perfectly still and I could get a text message out to people.
And it's funny because I got my confirmation for the Microsoft press conference and it says we offer free high-speed internet, and I just laugh. I laugh because every single year they have it, but then you have thousands and thousands of people trying to use it at the same time. It doesn't work.
Yeah, what happens when 30,000 game journalists try to connect to something?
Yeah, think about it. Let's just say the convention center says, we've got 1,000 megabit per second internet, and there's 30,000, there's 10,000 people there. That's a 1 megabit per second connection if you're lucky, and that's 128 kilobytes.
Yeah, and then you have the people who go there and are doing live impressions blogs on their laptop, and I'm just why are you trying this? Don't bother.
And the other ones who do it successfully have a hardline connection or something like that.
Yeah,
IGN does it, but I'm pretty sure they are big and fancy enough that they have some kind of hardline connection.
Well, I mean, Rev3 Games at PAX will go and take a camera and live stream, but they can't go all they can do is the perimeter of each floor, because if you go really far in, you just can't get signal. If you're lucky or have money to spend like they do, you can probably get it on the perimeter. That's it. It's pointless too. So doing what we do, where we grab the interview, we grab the footage there, and then come take it back to a hotel, or in this case, Nick's house, and then post it there, makes way more sense.
Yeah. So definitely expect a lot from us, and our content's going to be different from everyone else's, because some sites just don't want to admit it. It's we just don't have the resources to break the news when it comes to E3. I don't have a group of people sitting in editing offices to where we can shoot an interview, send it to them, and then have it up 2 hours after we filmed it. We just don't have the resources to do that. But you will find our content. It will be posting content every single day. So keep a lookout on the slideshow, the main slideshow of the website. Once our content starts posting, you're gonna see next latest content and featured shows. You're gonna see E3. You'll go there and you'll see there'll be a slideshow just for E3 content, and you don't have to worry about any other content being posted on the website during E3. All you're gonna see is E3 content.
Yeah, I actually just wanted to discuss that for a minute. The comic, wildly positive reception to it. Thank you. Aaron and I and Bremen all put a lot of hard work into it. And even Anthony puts a lot of hard work into it because he has to post it and crop it together. So, thank you. But you are not getting a comic until after E3. Because that's just kind of how things happened with our writing schedule and everything. The next two are written, but Bremen has to draw a bunch of shit for E3. So, because with each interview and thing we're doing, we're trying to do custom art. Because we have an artist now, so we can do things like that. And also, for those of you who missed the Gamecast, I'm not promising full Gamecasts. Mini Gamecasts at the hotel when everything else is done. They could be 10 minutes, they could be 20 minutes. Knowing the Gamecast, they'll probably turn into 40 minutes. But so you are combine that with the videos, our impressions videos, the articles that we're going to be writing, and Bremen's art. Throughout E3, you will have plenty of great content to see. And then we're taking a fucking week off afterwards, I assume, at least. Like, Anthony, we're not making anything that Saturday when we come back, right?
That's literally the day after we came back.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anybody who's ever came back from any vacation realizes that they're suddenly really tired. Except in our case, this is not really a vacation. I mean, we're gonna have lots of fun, but by the time we came back, we had just completed a long work week, effectively.
Yeah,
so we're gonna be just knocked out.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to wait a full, like,
The good news, though, is I do have Mugen Souls in the pipeline to cover for the week that we just don't do anything.
Yeah, you can thank NIS for that.
Thank you, Backlogs.
Thank you, NIS, for sending us that game. Yeah, you'll get Mugen Souls that week, but other than that, it's pretty much. Well, I don't know. Anthony and I might record like a GameCast Sunday night.
Yeah, I think we'll probably still do our. I'm thinking we'll do it Unscripted Access when we get back.
But it'll probably be short. Like, that's...
Yeah.
Because,
everything we've said has already been said at LA.
Yeah, like, between the impressions video, the mini-cast, the articles, and then the interviews, I think, like, that entire next week, people are like, what do you think about video games?
Yeah.
Like, that's... But the next Saturday... not the one we come back, but the one after, we're going to be doing 60-minute access of Mario Kart. So expect lots of swearing and whatnot. It'll be...
it's Mario Kart. Friendships will be ruined again.
Yeah, like last time. Fucking Year of Luigi, motherfucker. Like, just all kinds of horrible swearing and whatnot. Especially, I can imagine a lot of it in this one, because... some of these tracks are devious. So, yeah, like that's... Oh, man, Nintendo doesn't make good party games. But hey, speaking of Nintendo, we should predict stuff for E3, guys.
Yes, this is our E3 predictions show, so don't really expect too much news. This is going to be our predictions of E3, what we think all these companies are going to announce. So let's go ahead and start with Nintendo. Nintendo is not holding a press conference this year. They're doing Nintendo Direct, which has been their trend lately.
So that picture I had, like, was taken down. So I'm not sure how. So basically, supposedly a bunch of stuff from Nintendo had leaked for their Nintendo E3 Direct plans, and it seemed kind of nuts. That if do either of you guys have that window open still? Because it is gone now.
I do not.
Okay, well, I will just have to go off memory. So supposedly Smash Bros. For the 3DS is coming out on July 18th. We are getting GameCube Virtual Console games on June 10th. What else?
Star Fox.
Star Fox is coming out this holiday. Bayonetta 2 is coming out in August, so is Shin Megami Tensei Crossfire Emblem. Project X by the guys who made Xenoblade is coming out in September. The new Zelda is going to be out in 2015, and Smash Bros. Will be out this holiday. They also supposedly are announcing Metroid for the 3DS coming out this holiday, along with Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire remakes. And I'm trying to remember what else was on that damn piece of paper. Oh well. All that I have to say is that if this is true, which this is the third time in 4 weeks that we're gonna have to say this, because everyone's E3 apparently leaked, supposedly. This sounds crazy. Like, this sounds like fucking the best possible case scenario for Nintendo.
Yeah, I think releasing Smash Bros. In the summer, as long as it's ready by then, like, that'll be the perfect time, because kids will be out of school, and that'll just be a perfect time to release that game.
They're doing 2 waves. The 3DS is coming out in July, and then the Wii U is coming out in the winter.
Oh, okay.
Which is still, in my...
It's still good, because it's the holiday season. I guess Nintendo... Yeah.
And they're going to get people to double dip.
Absolutely.
Because usually, it'd be like, okay, both these versions are out. I'm gonna pick one. But now it's like far enough apart to be like, oh, Smash Brothers.
Well,
You know,
even
and-
then, each version of that game has specific exclusive content.
Yeah,
This isn't
absolutely.
something that you can just cross-platform.
Yeah, but like, first off, that game is making me really consider getting like a 3DS XL for the bigger screen, because I played PlayStation All Stars on the Vita, and that screen was barely big enough for that style of game. So, uh, that's just that opinion. But I don't know. Like, Smash is a huge game, and Mario Kart, like Iwata said, hey, one game can turn everything around. Mario Kart 8 just came out, and Wii U sales have gone up by 600%.
Wow, that's
Like-
very good.
And
Yeah,
82% of those sales are Mario Kart Wii U bundles. So I mean, first off, if Nintendo doesn't do a Smash Brothers bundle, they're retarded. That's straight up. Second off,
I don't think they will at launch.
no, they did. Like Mario Kart 8, they did at launch. Like they're like Nintendo. Nintendo is desperate. They need you to buy a Wii U, Nick, and they're gonna do everything in their power to make it happen.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, Smash is as big, if not bigger, than Mario Kart. And I realistically think that like that could also move units and sustain units for a while. I mean, how many GameCubes did Smash Brothers sell? All of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
So that's part of the reason why the GameCube was a success.
I mean, every time
It's like Halo with Xbox.
every person I know who owned a GameCube owned Smash Brothers. Did not matter who it was. Like every GameCube owner owned Smash. And with that new so recently Nintendo announced that they're going to be doing a GameCube adapter for Smash Bros. And maybe and that would also go in line with that news of Wii U or the GameCube games on Virtual Console. Like that would line up perfectly. Like, oh yeah, you can use the tablet or you could use your old GameCube controller through this adapter. Or we're also bringing back GameCube controllers to sell. All of which are perfect. Like I think that it's really funny. Like Nintendo is, because of Smash Brothers, Nintendo is locked to the GameCube controller for all eternity. Like that, as as messed up as that is, but that's how people want to play that game. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I have high hopes. Like first off, if this is true, if this E3 lineup is true, it impressed me way more than the other two. That is partially because of my taste in games. I like JRPGs. I like mechanics-based action games, and I like old school franchises. And they hit all those marks. And also, Star Fox 64 is one of my favorite games ever. So having a new Star Fox for the first time in almost 20 years would make me very happy.
Wouldn't it be really cool if your plane controls, your R-Wing controls, were like on the tablet, and everything in front of you is just like space and the HUD? I think that's pretty freaking awesome.
I think they could do a lot of cool stuff with that tablet for all those games. Like I think
it could be like your radar. It could be the controls for your R-Wing. That sounds like pretty flippin' awesome.
Like for Metroid, like think of all the stuff they could do for Metroid. Think of all the stuff they could do for Zelda. Like I mean, how much easier was playing Zelda on the 3DS than it was any other platform because of the touchscreen?
Yeah, you just like click.
Well,
bam,
yeah, that's what I was
item.
about to say. I think Nintendo really wanted to knock it out of the park. They announced Zelda. Zelda.
That's supposedly what the closer is. Zelda for 2015. They're supposedly closing.
And am I glad that they didn't really say specifically what the Zelda game is? Because, well, first off, they always are going to make a Zelda game, and I'm also kind of concerned that because all of this stuff is leaked out, it's like, if it's true, it's gonna be like that just takes the surprise out of it, because that's one of the reasons why you get excited about E3 surprises.
Well,
what is the surprise? Now,
I mean,
thankfully, Zelda 2015 sounds vague enough to the point where it's like, well, yeah, of course a Zelda game's coming. We just don't know what.
I mean, but like, imagine if they closed their press conference with Star Fox and Zelda back to back. Like, that's pretty nuts, Personally, I'm still I'm throwing this as a bet out there. They're gonna show an F-Zero. After playing Mario Kart 8, I absolutely think F-Zero is being made. You know, like, just there's no doubt about it in my mind that F-Zero is being made by someone somewhere.
Why does Mario Kart make you think so?
There is just so much shit in that game where it's like, this is running at 60 frames, it looks beautiful, there's all this anti-gravity shit and loop-de-loops and, like, shit that would be in an F-Zero game. This feels like a giant test run for F-Zero. You know, so I could definitely see an F-Zero. I could partially see a Star Fox. Because they already put out a Mario last year. Like, we got a Mario last year. Like, I mean, we haven't got a lot of major Nintendo franchises on Wii U yet. And I think that's part of the reason why it's selling very poorly. Like, I mean, look at what one Mario Kart does. You know, like, we haven't got a new Zelda. We got a remade Zelda. We got a new Mario and a new Pikmin, but no one... Like, Pikmin's not a big franchise. Like, it's a great game, but they're not... They don't explode the same way like, oh, holy shit, new Star Fox does. You know, so... I think that Nintendo... Like, there's a lot of stuff Nintendo can announce. I'm personally banking on... They have to say something about Zelda, right?
Yeah,
Like,
they have to. It's been so long now.
Like, it's been 2 years since the last game came out. Those games are on 4 to 5 year dev cycles. We are going to see something, even if it's just a brief teaser. I'd be willing to bet on F-Zero after playing Mario Kart. And I think that the rest of those release dates actually kind of make sense. Like Bayonetta in August, that makes sense. Shin Megami Cross Fire Emblem, that makes sense. Project X is the one that I'm kind of like, not really, but I'd still be willing to bite on it. Though Nintendo is really fucking good at keeping secrets. I mean, last year when they unveiled a new Mario, like, that's the first time we heard of that, right? Like, no one knew.
There was a trailer from the year before.
They didn't, did they?
Yeah, I remember that you said that the trailer looked like crap, and then when you saw the one from E3, you're like, oh, it's suddenly a lot better.
No, I saw the one from E3, and then the one they showed in October looked way better.
Oh.
Yeah, so yeah, like, I definitely could see them turning that around. I don't know, does anyone have any predictions for Nintendo?
Do you guys really think Mario's not gonna have any presence at all?
I think that, like, Mario Party, like, I think there's going to be a Mario game. I just don't think it's going to be, like, a traditional platformer. I think it's going to be either Mario Party or a Mario sports game.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking a Mario Party.
Yeah, like, I could see a Mario Party, especially with the Wii U. So, there's a Mario Party, maybe, Mario Baseball, maybe, Mario, like, he's been in a lot of sports games, so one of those, maybe. I don't know. That's it. Actually, a good question.
I don't know. I don't think it'd be Nintendo to not have Mario present, like outside of Smash Brothers, of course.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's true. What about you, Anthony?
As far as Nintendo's lineup, I really don't know. Like, whether there's a new Mario this year. That's the question, right? I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted.
When was the last time Nintendo dropped the price of the Wii U?
Last year. Well, yeah, last year.
Yeah, when they did the Zelda bundle, right?
I think that they're gonna drop the price. I mean, I think they're because it's priced at $199 right now, right?
No, it's not.
300.
It's at
300 for the good version.
It's at 300, and it comes with a game.
Right, yeah. So,
or at least in the case of the Mario Kart version, I think it comes with like Wii wheels also.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
That's
what I meant. Not $199, $299 is what I meant. So, okay, so $300. The old hardware in there, they're making a ton of money off the console. I think they're probably going to drop it down to probably $250 for the good bundle, and really try to pump this thing out and bring this thing back to life. Because if they are able to have a really good press conference between Super Smash Brothers, they announced a Star Fox, they announced Zelda, the console's coming out at $250. They're going to have an incredible holiday season. Holiday season. I think that $299 is just a little bit too high for the Nintendo audience. I think it's just pushing it. I think $249's even pushing it.
$249 with a game, though.
Well, the game, yeah.
That's perfect. Like, that's right on. Like, $249 and it comes with Mario Kart. or well, right now it's $330 for the Mario Kart bundle because of the Wii wheel. So like right now they have a couple different bundles. They're the most expensive is $330. It comes with Mario Kart and a Wii remote and a Wii wheel, and obviously if you register Mario Kart, you get another game. And then there's the Zelda bundle, which is $300. You get Zelda and a special tablet. And then there's the Mario U bundle, which comes with New Super Mario Bros. U, New Luigi U, and the good system itself. And then they have the Skylanders bundle, which is the 8 gig Wii U, and Skylanders, like a starter kit for it. So.
Yeah, I just think, if they're able to come out with a $249 bundle with a game this holiday season with all of those games coming out, I think there'd be a huge holiday season for Nintendo. I really do. So
Yeah, like I think
they need to get consoles out there.
I mean, yeah, and the thing is, Nintendo has games that can move hardware. Like they straight up do. I mean, the Wii proved it. Like, I mean, tons of people bought Mario Kart on the Wii, tons of people bought Smash and the Galaxy games and the New Super Mario Bros. U games. Like, those moved units. It's just a matter of Nintendo getting out there and saying, please buy our shit, and pricing it accordingly.
Yeah, because the problem is, it's like, and Nintendo has the ability to do it, just from the standpoint of, look at the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4 is at $399. Sony's making money on every PlayStation 4 sold, and the hardware on the PlayStation 4 is years and years newer than that of the Wii U. Yes, the Wii U has the tablet controller. I'm sure that's not cheap, but if they were making money on the Wii U a year ago, they're certainly making money off of it now because technology progressively becomes cheaper. So I definitely think they have the ability to do it. Drop it $50, announce all these great games, and I don't know, maybe we'll see the Wii U starting to get back up to speed. Because right now it's not too good.
It can try and get up to speed, but it won't be completely up to speed. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it definitely.
Because let's be honest here, the PlayStation 4 is like dominating so much, just like.
Well, no, I don't think it's going to catch up to the sales speed of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
But as far as being more relevant, yeah, they can certainly try and do that. $250 I think is a good place to start. Are they actually going to make any money off of $250? I'm not really sure because the system's going to be 2 years old this year, and the parts on the inside aren't exactly.
I mean, at this point,
exactly the latest stuff.
At this point, they're hemorrhaging so much money anyway. Like it's almost to the point where they have to do the Hail Mary play and be like, okay, $250, and hope that we make it up on software. Because what do they buy our games for? Nintendo games. So we're the only ones making any money off the software. Sorry, Platinum Games, you're getting fucked in this.
Well, yeah, that's the thing with Nintendo. People don't buy Nintendo consoles for third-party games, whereas it's different with Sony and Microsoft. Yes, people buy it for the exclusive, but they also buy it for the Call of Duties. They're buying it for Destiny. They're buying it for Assassin's Creed. They're buying it for all these other games. But with Nintendo, it's not really that way. People buy Nintendo for the Mario Karts, the Super Smash Brothers, the Zelda, etc.
Throughout the lifetime of a system like the GameCube or the Wii or the Wii U, I'm gonna own 3 to 4 third-party games and then 14 Nintendo games. But I look at the PlayStation 3 in this example. I look at my shelf right now. I have about 50 games for that system, and I would say over half are third-party. First party, third party, first party, third 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 party, first party. And that's the average through most of the collection with some rare hiccups here and there. That's actually also why it's getting to the point where you need to buy one next-gen console, really. And, unless you're like us or you really like a certain exclusive that happens to be on that other platform, then you kind of only need to buy one. So I guess that should bring us over to Microsoft then, as long as we're talking about other platforms, unless you guys want to.
I'm done with Nintendo. I honestly don't. I mean, people would know me. I'm not much of a Nintendo person, so I couldn't really chime in much here.
Man,
Sony. Sony and Microsoft will have a ton to chime in about.
If we brought over Mario Kart during E3, you'd probably have a lot to say
about
about
Nintendo. I love Mario Kart.
Yeah, so you should buy that Wii U bundle. It's pretty sweet. Your girlfriend can play it with you. So that's a game anyone can play.
Maybe.
My mom plays Mario Kart, dude. That game is for everyone.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm done with Nintendo if everyone else is.
Yeah, like Microsoft is interesting to me because Microsoft keeps announcing stuff.
The good thing about Microsoft, it's just like they're under new management now. So Phil Spencer's the head of Xbox, no more Don Matrick. And Phil Spencer, you can just tell he's more like about the gamers. And I bet there were several times under Don Matrick, he was like, I just want to strangle this guy. He doesn't understand the business. I can't wait till I take over type of thing. And it's sort of like Xbox is like, what the hell? Exactly. It's like with Xbox, like what the hell? They must have so much to announce. This reminds me of Sony a couple years ago when they kept announcing things way before E3. Well, right before E3. And it's like Microsoft, it's like these things aren't even being leaked. They're being announced, like officially announced, meaning they were meant to be announced. Forza Horizon 2, Halo 5 Guardians, gameplay for Quantum Break. It's like what in the world? Like Forza wasn't really a surprise. Like we knew there was going to be another Forza, likely Forza Horizon 2. Not that big of a deal. But the fact that they announced the name of Halo 5 and they actually provided information, like it's definitely going to have a presence at E3. Maybe they'll show a teaser trailer, maybe they'll show gameplay. But the fact that they released that information ahead of time, and then they show gameplay for Quantum Break, it's like those are two huge exclusives for the Xbox One platform. And Forza Horizon 2. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of Forza Horizon. I'm a huge fan of Forza. But Forza Horizon wasn't my favorite game. But I'm excited to check out and see what they're doing with Forza Horizon 2. They're bringing the Drivatars back. The game should look substantially better than Forza 5 because they've had more time to work on the game. It's just like Microsoft must have so much stuff that they couldn't fit all of this into it, which has me really excited.
Here's the question, though. How much of that is third party? Like, because everyone, like, I always think back to, like, 2009 when everyone said Microsoft had an amazing conference. The Beatles were on stage. They showed off Modern Warfare 2. They showed off Beatles Rock Band. And they showed off a couple other games. I'm like, all of these are on PlayStation 3! Like, except for Halo and Forza. Why do I give a shit? You know, like, that's... You know, I feel as though an E3 press conference, some third-party presence is fine. Especially if you were going to probably announce some exclusive DLC or something like that. But, like, you should largely be showing shit I can only get on your platform.
Well, here's the thing. Microsoft's actually been investing in first-party studios for this generation, which they should have been doing a long time ago. But they've actually been investing. So I definitely expect to hear... Probably, I'd say at least 2 games that are being built in-house from Microsoft that we've heard nothing about. I think we'll see about 2 games, which I think will be really good for Microsoft. I definitely think we'll see a Rise 2. The game sold decently well. The game had a lot of potential, but it was more of like a tech demo. I think we'll see a Rise 2. I think there's definitely potential there. We'll definitely see gameplay of Forza Horizon 2, and they'll definitely bring the car up on the stage. That's like an annual tradition for them to bring a nice like McLaren on the stage. And I drool over it every time.
And freaking, of course they were going to bring in NASCAR. It's like, look guys, we are so famous. We are the racing game. Why? Because we brought in a $1 million supercar.
Yeah. So I think they'll bring that in again. They'll keep it under the stage and they'll have it raised from the stage. They do it almost every single year. They'll show off gameplay. They'll talk about it briefly. I'm excited. I'm a Forza nut. So
there's so many things about Microsoft I can hope for. There's never gonna happen. So the realistic thing for me is like make Halo 2 Anniversary and don't fuck up the multiplayer. That's my wish.
Oh, they'll definitely announce. I think they're gonna announce the anniversary now. Whether it's Halo 2 or if it's gonna be like what the rumors are saying, it's Halo 1 through 4, which is just crazy. I don't know if they're gonna do that though.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, the rumor is they're gonna announce a Xbox One like HD edition of Halo 1 through 4 with multiplayer for one of the games. We'll see what happens there. But I definitely think
Battletoads HD. Oh yeah,
I
come
don't think
on.
in your dreams.
All right, what else did they own? Oh, Wizards and Warriors HD.
No, I think we're gonna see Microsoft try new franchise. I definitely think we're gonna see a Gears of War. I mean, Microsoft bought Gears of War for a reason. Black Tusk Studios is working on something, and there's been multiple rumors and everything hinting towards it. That's what their project is, and it makes sense. I'm excited to see. I mean, I'm sure the game it'll look amazing graphically.
All right, but... Microsoft, do you want to win the E3 from me? Viva Pinata 3. Come on now. Come on.
Dude, how did Viva Pinata sell?
Pretty, like, not horrible. Like, it did all right. Like, it didn't do too bad from what I remember. I mean, one of the versions of the game was a platinum hit. So it had to do okay.
Yeah. I could see him possibly doing another Viva Pinata. But I think we're definitely going to see probably Call of Duty. They've announced
it did 1.6 million copies.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, I could definitely see them doing a sequel then.
Let's see what the second one did. Oh, that's sad. That's super sad.
What did it do?
600,000 copies.
I don't know then.
That's sadness. That sucks. Okay. Oh, we're definitely getting season 2 of Killer Instinct. Like they've already announced it. So 8 more characters for that.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's something they're actually gonna show because it's not something really new.
Yeah, I know, but
I mean, if they are announcing all these games, like I think they would have saved time for one of those announcements than show off new characters.
One of the rumors is like Fallout 4 as an exclusive.
Well,
sounds nuts.
It won't be exclusive. It'll be timed exclusive. I've been hearing that too, but there is no way they're gonna do that fully exclusive. There is just no way.
Microsoft has a lot of money. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like,
yeah, but you're talking about million. I mean, Microsoft would have had to pay. Because especially with the PlayStation 4 outselling the Xbox One like it is, they would have had to pay Bethesda a shit ton of money.
I mean, the Wii U is still barely ahead of the Xbox One, which is, I mean, Nintendo way to barely hold your lead.
They're gonna lose it pretty quickly, anyways.
Come on, Nintendo, make a comeback.
Like, I definitely think they're gonna. I definitely think that's gonna be one of their like megaton announcements. But I think it's gonna be timed exclusive.
Yeah, or they're gonna get exclusive DLC or something like that. They
already announced with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare they're gonna get an exclusive DLC, and I think that this go around with Call of Duty, we're probably going to see it run at the same quality on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
It ran at the same quality on the old systems. It was one of the few games that did. You know, like
I mean, like Call of Duty Ghosts, like Xbox One and PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4 version looked a lot better.
Oh, okay. Like I thought, yeah. Like
but I think with the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 version, we're not going to see like a big discrepancy between the two.
Like I remember.
Did you guys see that? Phil Spencer came out and said that their new dev kit for June, they've allowed a lot more access to the GPU and allows them to do a lot more graphics and things like that. I think part of that is because they probably had a lot of the Xbox One development kit blocked off for the Kinect. And now they're like, well, we aren't even going to require the Kinect anymore. We'll leave it completely optional. It opens up this 10% or whatever. So I think that might help some of those games. That might be all it needs to get from that 30 frames per second to 60 frames per second and a 720p to 1080p. So I think we're going to see, like I said, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is going to look pretty much exactly the same. But I definitely think we'll see Advanced Warfare during Microsoft's show. We did not see Call of Duty during Microsoft's show last year, which surprised me, but that may have been because they knew with Ghost how much better it was going to look on the PlayStation 4. So I think with Advanced Warfare, it's going to look about the same. And, of course, we're going to have exclusive DLC and all that stuff. Fallout 4, I think, will be announced, but it'll be timed exclusive. It might be like 6 months, would be my guess. I don't think they'd go as far as a year, but I could see them doing 6 months to where it comes out this holiday season on Xbox One. It comes out like the fall for PlayStation, or next summer for PlayStation 4.
There are so many great games getting delayed to 2015, and this holiday season for me is like, if it is really Fallout 4 and Dragon Age and Destiny and Smash Bros. Like, if those are the four, like, I do not give a shit about half of this holiday.
Like, I guess a lot of these games, they want to optimize and stuff, but to be honest with you, I really think Destiny is taking over this holiday season. I really think games are kind of getting worried, because, like, Destiny has the ability to do some of the consoles that not a single game has done, and that is be a game that people play for years and years and years. And I'm not talking, I mean, yes, there's games that have done that, but I'm talking about millions and millions and millions of people playing it for years and years and years, similar to what World of Warcraft has done on the PC. Bungie has put in Activision, they've put $500 million into this game, has been the budget for this game. And
yeah, you gotta remember, only 140 of that has been for development, which I realize that's still an insane amount of fucking money. But, like, even then, though, like, I think Destiny is going to be a great game. I have a lot of faith in it. It's going to be one of the best games of the year. But I don't think everyone's, like, that afraid of it. Like, I think...
I do.
Especially because it's coming out in September. Like, that's enough buffer to where if you have something coming out in November that, like, you're not too concerned about it. Like Metal Gear does not have to give a fuck about Destiny because it's Metal Gear.
Well, Metal Gear, you're right.
Yeah, like Batman kind of doesn't have to either. Like, Batman comes out when Batman wants to because Batman's big enough. Like, yeah, I can see why certain games are, like, saying, fuck that, I don't want to deal with Destiny. But, like...
I mean, it was just like Grand Theft Auto
Batman
5. Like,
delayed.
No one wanted to release around Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, which, like, Wonderful 101 came out the same day, which
was freaking...
awesome.
Yeah, that's just stupid. It was just like... What, Sony released Little Big Planet karting on the same day as what game was it?
Borderlands 2.
Borderlands 2, and it's like, Sony, really?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, like, oh man. No, that Little Big Planet karting came out the same day as Halo 4. Little Big Planet Vita came to...
Yeah, Halo 4.
Little Big Planet Vita came out the same day as Borderlands 2. And then Killzone Mercenaries came out like 2 weeks before Grand Theft Auto 5. Sony, you're great at picking release dates. You really are.
Yeah, but I don't think 2 weeks before Grand Theft Auto 5 was bad. It gives people the ability to buy it and beat it beforehand.
Yeah, but Beyond did really well considering it was 2 weeks after Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think with Microsoft, we're definitely gonna see. I think we're going to see probably more first-party titles than we have in a long time. I definitely think we'll see more on Quantum Break. They announced Quantum Break's delayed to 2015, but I definitely think we'll see more on Quantum Break. Like I said, they'll definitely show Forza Horizon 2. If Microsoft really wanted to take it, they would show gameplay of Halo 5. But I have a feeling that they're only going to talk about it and show a teaser trailer, but we'll wait and see. I think they'll announce some third-party DLC timed exclusivities. Like I said, Fallout 4 will be a timed exclusive as far as the entire game. Trying to think what else would be really big for Microsoft. Dance Central. They have to announce a new Dance Central. I mean...
Oh no, Fantasia isn't even out yet. They'll show Fantasia. That's not exclusive, but it's going to be way better on Kinect. Like, that'll be one of their things.
Like, they have to announce Dance Central. Like, that's a game that sells Kinects. And now that Kinect's going to be separated...
That is a game that works very well with the original Kinect. Can you imagine, like, Just Dance and Dance Central working with Kinect 2.0?
I mean, yeah, like that's...
Think about it. Like, Kinect 2.0, like, we don't know much about it because they didn't release out any SDKs to, like, universities or anything. But Kinect 1.0 was pretty freaking awesome. And the fact that Dance Central 1 and 2 and 3?
Yeah, there were three. There were three of them.
Now, worked that well on the Kinect. The original Kinect with its SD cameras and, Xbox 360's lack of processing power and...
Yeah, that game...
It was it worked really well, and it was one of the very few things, gaming-wise, that clicked with the Kinect very nicely.
Well, yeah, it was a really special game. I remember seeing it and demoing it at Best Buy and thinking, oh, this is really cool. I don't know if I'll ever buy this. And then I got to try it with friends up at PAX, and I was just sold. When I get back to town, I'm buying a Kinect. And it's very rare that you have those moments. What's really weird, though, is like I said, though, for me personally, this holiday season is super split. Because on the one hand, I don't care about Call of Duty, I don't care about Assassin's Creed, I don't give a shit really about anything that Ubisoft makes. And, there's so much stuff coming up that I just do not care about. But on the other end of that, there are a few games, not too many of them, but just a limited few that I'm way more excited for than I have been for other games in years. Persona 4 Ultimax Suplex Hold, Bayonetta 2, Smash Brothers, and Destiny. Destiny is a new... these are the dudes who made the best Halo Reach. So... I don't know.
They started a Halo, too.
Yeah, that too. That's... Instead of, ruining it. Actually,
Halo Spartan Assault, the best Halo game ever.
Do we want to discuss that right now? Okay.
Let's not.
No, okay, so Microsoft gave their free what was it? Their free their freebies.
Two free Xbox, they're two Xbox Gold. Xbox Gold's what I think they call it.
Yeah, they're Xbox Gold freebies. And holy shit, they were Max the Curse of Brotherhood, everyone's telling me is really good. I don't know yet.
It is really good.
Don't know yet. Haven't played it. Looking forward to it. But Spartan Assault, I beat the first set of missions, the first 5, and you can definitely tell it was a game meant for a tablet because it's retardedly easy. And not only that is it retardedly easy, it doesn't look super great. The only redeeming feature I can say about it is it's kind of fun co-op, and mainly because it's free, so I didn't pay anything to play that co-op. If I did, I'd be kind of mad. And it's fun co-op, and some of the story stuff for the Halo universe is kind of neat. They kind of went back to the Halo 1 style of oh, okay, this is modern this is military with less fantasy bullshit, which was one of my problems with Halo 4. Well, I had a lot of problems with Halo 4 story, but that was one of them. But yeah, so I don't know, man. That game is bad, and it's kind of a bummer that when you compare that to the first games that came out on PlayStation 4, PlayStation Plus, Contrast was a really good game, even though it had some problems. And Resogun, in my opinion, is the second best game on the system still. So, that's... Yeah, that's a bummer. But Max Curse Brotherhood's rad. And also, do you know if that Project Spark beta is still going on? Because I played that when that first came out, and I really enjoyed it. So I think Project Spark has supposed to be the next little big planet. It looked really cool.
Yeah, it does. It does look really cool. It reminds me of that game. What was that game that was created for PC? I think it started with an S too. Not too long ago.
Spore.
Spore, yes.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of Spore.
Yeah, Spore was really overhyped, but it was a fun game. I enjoyed Spore. For all its faults, I did enjoy Spore. And that was another game that got DRM'd to death. EA just I forgot who develops those games, but like EA just like hates Will Wright apparently, because that's the only explanation for some of the shit that goes down with those IPs.
Cool. But yeah, as far as Microsoft, I think that those are my predictions. How about you, Anthony?
Oh, Xbox 360 price drop. That's
Oh, definitely.
What
I definitely for Xbox One, they're not going to announce a price drop for that. They're just because they have a $399 Xbox One coming out without the Kinects, which I really think is going to boost their sales.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's already had. Like, I was at Games. Oddly enough, I was at GameStop today, and they said, "Oh yeah, like we've had a lot of pre-orders for that $399 bundle." And I'm like, "Oh, well, that's cool." Oh.
As for what I think will happen at Microsoft press conference, it's like,
Oh, and they will have. Sorry to interrupt you. They will have like, we're still dedicated to making great games for Xbox 360.
No, I don't think we're gonna see that this year. That's a Don Matrix statement.
Oh, well, yeah, but like I still think that like someone in that company has to toe the line of we're still supporting the old thing that you bought. Like, yeah, like that's as much as as much as they don't want to admit it, they have to say that because it was so successful, they have to go out there and say, look, see, you guys still get free stuff with it, da 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 da. Like they have to, and like it sucks that they have to, but they have to. Like it's the same reason why like Sony this year is going to be like, hey guys, do you remember the PS3? It was pretty rad, right? It still is. You're getting Persona games for the foreseeable future. Like that's like they kind of have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool, Anthony. Anything additional you want to add in before we move on to Sony?
As far as Microsoft's press conference, they're going to talk about games for gold and how their live subscriptions have been better than ever before.
Something like that. Like I've actually really enjoyed games for gold. Like I've gotten some. Like it's not as good as PSN Plus, but I have gotten some pretty good. Like the first Dark Souls was on it today, and then like last month they put Saints Row 3 on it. Like these are games you get to keep on the 360 at least, not on the Xbox One. So I don't know. Like that has potential to be. So like yeah, Xbox Live is now even with PSN Plus versus just being dumb and overpriced.
Well, yeah, I mean, game selection isn't as good though.
Yeah, like, well, I would say that this first month for Xbox One has been great. But...
You know what's crazy is, and it's the PlayStation 3 version, not the PlayStation 4 version, but PlayStation 3 got NBA 2K14 for free on PlayStation Plus. That's crazy! The game hasn't even been out for a year yet. It's still the latest and greatest NBA title.
Yeah, like I'm kind of curious. Like Microsoft is promising one retail game and one full downloadable game. So like I'm kind of curious how the hell they're gonna do that. Like what they're gonna do too. Like what are they gonna? Like
I guarantee you that freaking whatchamacallit, what's that launch game? It's gonna be their first full game. Freaking.
Describe it for me.
Not Rise, but oh my gosh, what was the Xbox One launch?
Dead Rising, Crimson Dragon.
Dead Rising, thank you. Dead Rising.
I would be
okay
with that.
I don't think that game sold well.
I can look it up after this race in Mario Kart. But
look, Dead Rising 3.
Yeah, look up Dead Rising 3 VG charts. Like that's where I find all. Just note that does not include sales for Walmart's.
Oh wow, the game actually sold really well. Sold over 1 million copies.
Yeah, and that's pretty good for a console launch. Especially considering like that means like what 1/4 of the people that own that system own that game, and that does not include digital sales, which is pretty big on these platforms. Or Walmart.
Rise almost hit 1 million.
Pretty good for a new IP. Not bad at all.
Like, yeah, I don't know what that first game will be.
I would be stoked for Dead Rising. I really enjoyed that game. Like I didn't think it was as good. Like, they stripped out a lot of what I hated about Dead Rising. Like, if they did a fourth game and they brought back color, like, I want them to have the color and the wackiness of the first two with the mechanics of the third one. Like that's what I want from that. Yeah, I had fun with Dead Rising though. Like its story is complete and utter horseshit. Like absolutely, but like I'm in a night suit with Blanca's hair from Street Fighter, killing hundreds of zombies with a steamroller that has a flamethrower on the front of it. I enjoyed myself. Like it wasn't like thought-provoking fun. Like it wasn't like when I sit down and play something like The Last of Us where I actually have to think a lot. But Anthony, you know how you've been looking for a game that's just kind of mindless and fun recently?
Little mindless, yeah.
Yeah, that would be a great game. Like it's a little bit mindless, but there's still a little bit of thought, and it is super fun. Yeah, it's just like, oh, maybe I can kill a zombie this way, or that way, or this way.
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Sunset Overdrive. That'll be at Microsoft.
Oh, that game looks so good. I wasn't interested until their latest showing of that game. It looks so good.
Aaron is buying a PS4 first, like regardless. He wants Infamous. He wants the console version of Transistor. But he has even said that game is making him considering buying an Xbox One. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Like once again, though, it is getting really hard to justify buying both. Like, buying the Nintendo one is easy. Like, that is justified, because that's the only place you can get the majority of the games for that system that matter. But, like, sitting down and, like, do I want an Xbox One or do I want a PS4 is becoming a harder and harder discussion. And it's harder and harder to justify both. I mean, Anthony, let's be real. Like, let's say they announce a new Gran Turismo, and that solidifies you buying a PS4. I mean, like, when?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think they might talk Gran Turismo at the Sony E3 press conference.
Well, let's not go. Are we going to move into Sony now?
Oh well, we will after asking him this question. Like, Anthony, like, let's say you do get a PS4 because of Gran Turismo, and the other great games coming to that system. Like, when do you think you would pick up an Xbox One? Because I know, like, you are a lot more frugal than Nick or I. So,
I mean, it's gonna take something huge from Xbox, because you think of the last generation. You could buy an Xbox 360 or a PS3 and be happy for most of the lifetimes of those systems. But what ultimately got me to buy a PlayStation 3? Well, Metal Gear 4 happened, but what I did was I borrowed a friend's PlayStation 3 and played Metal Gear 4 and then gave the PlayStation back.
Yeah, and like, I mean, Halo is going to be great, but like, you and I can just play through Halo co-op at my house. Like, that's...
Yeah, it's like... Yeah, it's like, you need something. Like, for the PlayStation 3, Metal Gear 4, well, I'm not going to pay $300, let's just say $300 for a system just to play only one game. Like, I wouldn't even do that for Nintendo. Like, if I was going to, like, I wouldn't have bought a Wii U if I didn't think, well, I'm going to need to buy at least 5 or 6 games throughout the system's lifetime to even for that purchase to be barely worth it. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy Zelda. I'm going to buy Super Mario 3D World, Smash Brothers, and I'm going to get Pikmin 3. I'm going to get Mario Kart. Bam, that's 5 games right there already. So, I don't buy systems for, like... They talk about killer apps, and the only time I've ever done that was with my DS, where I bought my DS only for Pokemon, and then the next to only game I spent time playing on it is Pokemon. Same thing with my Game Boy Advance, but now that portables are like $170 and you actually have to pay for your own when you're an adult, because life, just kind of makes it harder. I need a lot of system justifiers, and the thing that ultimately got me to buy a PlayStation 4, well, the year before I got my PS3, Uncharted 2 came out. Super amazing. Then Demon's Souls was on there too, and I wanted to play Gran Turismo because I haven't played Gran Turismo before, and then I could buy Metal Gear 4, and then I could
and then Little Big Planet and like that. You like that?
And the online was free and that kind of stuff.
Like,
so for the Xbox One to entice me, they're gonna need more than just a Forza game. They're gonna need like 2 or 3 super awesome things that will make me desperately want it, in addition to a pretty nice library of other things that justify me buying it.
I mean, that's one of the real bummers about the Kinect being taken out of the box, is like, it was something that differentiated that system, and now that it's not going to be there anymore, for a lot of people anyway. And like I'm a lot more loose. Like my policy is, if there's one experience that is just absolutely fucking amazing that I can't get anywhere else, then it's justified. Like that. But it has to be like a Metal Gear 4, right? It has to be one of those where it's like, you can only get this here. This game is just unbelievably good, and this is the only place you are going to be able to experience it. And for a lot of, and that's becoming less and less common, because like, what are the games we're excited for? Destiny, that's on both. Batman, that's on both. Metal Gear, that's on both. Anything else? Like, is there one I'm missing? That's all of them, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, that's, yeah. Batman. I think there's anything else. Like basically everything that you would want to play is like on both. Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy.
Yeah, there's Far Cry 4, the next Assassin's Creed.
Like, what's exclusive? Like, PlayStation's been doing a really good job with indie games, and indie games are not system sellers. They are, as Jim Sterling put it, system justifiers. Like, Anthony, I know with let's say you buy a PS4 next year, you're going to be paying for PlayStation Plus, because all of us are, because we want to play online. And the freebies are nice. It gives you a reason to turn on the system. Like, I mean, even, and I would not have bought a PS4 for Resogun, but Resogun gets me to turn on my PlayStation 4 quite often, because it is a good game. Like that. And I feel as though that's kind of the role indie games are playing. And I think the Microsoft is finally starting to understand that with this Games for Gold thing. Like, I mean, I haven't turned on my Xbox One other than to play Titanfall here and there for a while. Turned it on today, download the free copy of Masks: The Curse of Brotherhood, and I really enjoyed that game, and I'm really enjoying that game, and I did not enjoy Spartan Assault, but it got me to turn the system on, so props to them. And like that's fantastic. Now hopefully they can continue that. Like, that's, like, Anthony, I know you don't have a preference for indie games, but like there are a lot of them that I think, like, if you were getting them for free and were like, oh, I will try this because it is free, you'd probably end up liking them.
Well, yeah, that's the great thing about the Games for Gold and PlayStation Plus, is you get to play these games that you would have never played otherwise. And it turned out to be great. Like, I would have never bought Contrast, but I loved it.
Yeah, like, Contrast was a game that, like, I would not have probably paid the $15 for. I was interested in it, but $15 for I'm not fond of puzzle platformers. There's not a genre that I'm really into. So the fact that, like, I got to play that game and I really, really enjoyed it, it was kind of the exception to the rule, was nice. And it's also kind of why I think free-to-play is getting bigger, right? Because I just got into the Heroes of the Storm alpha, and I would have paid for Heroes of the Storm if it was just a $60 release that they put out. But now, like, Nick, when the full version of that comes out, you can play it with Anthony and I and see if their take on the MOBA is something for you. And if you end up liking it, you can invest money into different parts of that game.
Right.
Like, that's why I'm not like, yeah, there are a ton of people who do free-to-play in the shittiest way possible, and it sucks. Like, if that's the discussion we need to have about free-to-play, I will completely goddamn agree with you. But, but that's not the discussion I want to have about free-to-play. Like, the discussion I want to have about free-to-play is Man, look at all this potential this has to be better for the consumers and everyone involved. Why don't we do this more? I guess would be the way I'd put it. But
Right.
I don't know. That's just you've been playing Warframe. Like that's free to play.
Yeah, Warframe's great. Like Warframe, it's one of those games where you can like progress faster by buying stuff, but there's not most of the stuff. Like some of like better weapons you have to buy their like alternate currency and stuff like that. But for the most part, you can grind and progress pretty far in that game for the most part.
Yeah, and that's how you I feel as though in a free to play game, I've been playing Hearthstone. Like Hearthstone, you can earn about 3 packs. You can earn about a pack a day of cards, and if you're really good, you can earn multiple packs of cards per day. But if you just want to get some cards to build out a new deck really fast, $10. That's 7 packs of cards. That'll get you on your way. And once again, that's a good way to do free to play. Dota 2, which Dota 2, its international prize pool just hit over $8 million. And that's a perfect way. It's like, okay, all the characters in the game are unlocked from the start, but if you want these really cool skins or you want really cool announcers, that's where you're gonna have to pay money. Which I think that is super smart. Anyway, I guess we're on to Sony. Anything else to say about Microsoft, Anthony?
Not really.
What are you doing right now? Because I know you seem somewhat distracted.
Yeah, I am distracted. Just lots of thoughts happening right now.
Okay.
Alright, so moving on to Sony, the company I have the highest expectations for. I definitely think that we're going to see Sony talk about PlayStation 3 and Vita for probably about 10-15 minutes total, being like, hey guys, we know these consoles still exist. Here's these games coming out. Blah 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 blah.
We're sorry you bought a Vita.
Yeah. There's a leaked image. I think it was actually a posting. I think it was leaked by Amazon showing like a PlayStation Master Bundle, which included the PlayStation 4 and the Vita together. I could see Sony doing that.
I was super pissed when so they unveiled a bunch of really cool, interesting games for the Vita, right, recently. But on the PlayStation blog, and someone's response was like, "When are we going to be getting more AAA games like Borderlands, and not these smaller indie titles, right, or these more niche Japanese titles?" And the PlayStation blog response was, "Well, we've kind of tried that with Uncharted and Killzone, and we found that they succeeded, but not as well as we hoped." This is me paraphrasing, obviously. But it didn't do as well as we hoped, so, we're gonna... So, we've kind of already accomplished the AAA thing with PlayStation, with that, the PlayStation streaming, and I'm like, no, you didn't. Don't no. First off, I use my handheld on the bus, and even with 3G connection, I couldn't play PlayStation 4 games on the bus. Just no. That is not an acceptable answer. But then again, I look at what my favorite Vita games are, and almost all of them are not Killzone or Uncharted. Those were great games, but what's my most played game on the Vita that's not Persona? Luminous, which is a puzzle platformer, just a puzzler. And then what beyond that, Guacamelee, indie game, Thomas Was Alone, indie game, Super Stardust HD, indie game, Danganronpa is one of the best games of the year. It's a Vita exclusive, and it is a small, it's made by a super tiny studio, and it's a Japanese game. That's fine. I get that the people who bought Vitas are that audience. It's Japan and super hardcore gamers who into that kind of thing, so it's not really an issue. But I can see that, like, if you bought a Vita for, like, Assassin's Creed, right? Like, I can see how you'd be super pissed at that response. Like, that's a shame, because this system's potential is not being reached. And I know Bronson rants. I'm working on one of these right now where they had a fuck up a month ago at this point, where like all the PlayStation 1 games were available to download, no matter what your region. And then they said, "Oh fuck, we fucked that up," and now it's not. And I'm like, why can you not take the time to just get these licensed in every region? Like really? Like, do you just give that little fucks? Do you just care that little about this fucking system? Like that's what it kind of comes off as to me, right? As just they do not give a shit about PlayStation Vita at all. You want to know who cares most about the Vita, ironically? Atlas and NIS. You want to know why those two care about the Vita? And indie developers. Those three. Because Vita owners buy games from them. Why? Because Vita owners are stereotypically hardcore gamers. Or Frank Underwood. That was a card joke. Okay. And they buy games that are appealing to them. Like, they buy a lot of games. In fact, like, I think, like, I remember reading the attach rate for Vita owners was fucking crazy. So that tells you that, like, they're willing to buy games for your damn system. So make them. Make them, damn it!
The Vita is...
So I think we're going to see them cover the PS3 and Vita. I think we're going to see probably a good maybe 10-minute demo, 5 to 10-minute demo with Project Morpheus. Sony has to have that. If they're really pushing virtual reality, they have to have it during their E3 press conference. It only makes sense. I definitely think we're going to see more of the Order 1886. I think we're going to see... Yeah, it was delayed. It was confirmed delayed to 2015.
What is coming out this holiday season?
I'm telling you, it's Destiny.
That sucks. Like,
Destiny's only one game.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like, I love Bungie, and I'm super excited for Destiny, but it is a game, like, singular. And you're telling me, like, I'm just gonna get that and, like, the standard yearly Assassin's Creed, like, just, no, somebody fill this fucking hole. Anyone.
Yeah, it's gonna be Destiny, Far Cry 4,
Smash,
Assassin's
obviously.
Creed, Smash.
Well, I mean, like, I guess this is, Anthony, you know what, this is kind of good for me, because I'm going to save a lot of money, but, like, I look at this release calendar, and I'm just like, what is there? Like, there's
stuff for the Wii U, which is good, because I already have one.
Like, haha, we got ahead of that train. I was right last year to fucking buy those. Like, I was right. Yeah, you get that Zelda bundle, people. You should have followed my advice.
We have Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. We have the typical third-party releases. But yeah, a lot of games have been delayed. Yeah, the Order 1886. I called that though. I knew that game was going to be delayed. They have what they're trying to accomplish. It's just like when I saw it, and in February, I was like, this game's going to get delayed because it was so buggy and had a lot of issues. So, I'm glad it got delayed though, because that's a game that I'm really looking forward to. But that's a type of game that they could really mess up really, really bad. So I'm really hoping that the delay does them well. But I think we'll see more of the Order 1886. I think we're going to see Drive Club. Sony's really, really putting confidence in Drive Club. They delayed it pretty much an entire year, and they keep reinvesting money into it. They're really marketing it. I think Drive Club really has the potential too.
And that seems like fucking insanity to me. I really like that studio. The Bowstone games are great. They also worked on Downhill Domination, which, why haven't we got another one of those? But whatever. And just, nothing. Like nothing like that. That is like all those games did well, but not well enough to like carry. Like if you told me like, hey man, Drive Club is going to carry our holiday
Motorstorm
season.
was actually selling really well. Motorstorm was selling like 1.5 to 2 million copies a game.
Yeah, that's true. Like that game did fair enough. But,
and
like,
that's a game. Oh my gosh! If they announce, like, I know they're working on Drive Club, but if they had like another team, like if they announced freaking Motorstorm for the PlayStation 4, oh my gosh, I'd be so
just
freaking
like
excited.
taking that super speedy vehicle with buildings collapsing.
Oh my gosh! Can you imagine
Yeah.
how good that would look?
Yeah, that would be pretty ridiculous.
My gosh, Motorstorm on the PlayStation 4. Oh man, it's probably not gonna happen, but please, like, I don't want to wipe out. Like, I'd take a Motorstorm on PlayStation 4 over a Wipeout on the PlayStation 4 any day.
I want a downhill domination. That game
man, can you imagine a Wipeout for now? You get to
vomit everywhere.
Yeah, you now get to vomit with 1080p instead of 720.
No,
yeah, imagine if they did it with Morpheus too.
No, that game actually ran at native 1080 on PS3. That game was one of the few that did it. But no, I remember. Oh god, just. I like. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what downhill domination was, I want you to imagine SSX, but with mountain bikes. And this gets better. And you are literally fighting your way down the mountain. Like similar to Mario Kart. Like you get items, like you get sticks and water bottles, and it looked amazing on the PS2. I don't even want to imagine what it looked like on the PS4. And just like, why can't this happen? Like that game did okay from what I remember. Like I know. I rented it like a billion times, and I know a lot of my friends had it. I don't know. Yeah. Damn my love of obscure video games.
But they'll definitely show Drive Club. I wish they'd show Motorstorm. Like, I'd be the most excited guy in the world, but I don't think they're gonna show. I don't think they're gonna announce that.
Heavenly Sword 2.
Oh, please. They announced Heavenly Sword 2. Oh my gosh. I don't care if I'm the only person standing there. I'll give them a standing ovation by myself. Oh my gosh. I want Heavenly Sword.
They announced that just like, oh, hey, Nick's pants are wet.
I think they're definitely gonna. They probably won't show it because they did already, and the game's coming out soon. But I think they'll mention Destiny in some way, just because it's such a big title.
I think that they are going to show. I think they're going to waste our time by showing Last of Us on PS4. I think that's going to be a thing.
No, what I think they'll do is they'll do something like Naughty Dog will come up on the stage and they'll talk about how much they've learned from and stuff like that. And I definitely think they'll show the next Uncharted. I'm conflicted on whether they're going to show gameplay though. Are they going to show gameplay? Because like Naughty Dog has been saying, like Naughty Dog's released statements saying that pretty much this game makes every other game look like shit. Like they didn't say that exactly, but that's pretty much what they're saying. It's so unbelievable. And it's like, if it really looks like that, then freaking show it during E3. I don't want to see a teaser trailer. I want to see the gameplay. I think they're gonna release it during the summer, like they did with The Last of Us.
So here's my thing with Naughty Dog. They said that we are currently working on a project on the scale of Uncharted and The Last of Us. So I think
it's The Last of Us too.
I could see that. I could see they've been talking about.
Here's the thing, though. I don't want a Last of Us 2.
Yeah, that's something I will say. The way that
because
game
The Last of Us, it kind of feels like maybe this should be like a one-off like project where, it's just like it's that one special game, not a series of special games, but the one single great game that they just happen to take a break from Uncharted and just happen to create the greatest thing ever. Like that's like a great. I think of that as a great way to remember The Last of Us.
I think of that game's story, and I don't want them to continue it. Like there's so much you can
because what I'm concerned about is that I don't want like absolute worst case. We don't want this to be like a Mass Effect series or a Star Wars series where the longer you drag it on, it slowly gets worse.
It's funny that you mention Mass Effect because I agree. I don't want a second Last of Us either. But I've been hearing, and like I said, I hear things from various sources, and some sources I say, oh, they've been kind of credible in the past. Some other sources say, yeah, I'm not even gonna take what they say serious. But I have a source that's been reliable in the past, and he told me that Naughty Dog is working on a sci-fi third-person shooter similar to that of Mass Effect, which I think would be really awesome. I think it'd be really cool to see them try to take on the sci-fi area. Like, The Last of Us was really cool. Like, it was very similar to Uncharted, though. I mean, yeah, it was grittier and it was kind of different, but for the most part, it was a similar type of style. I'd like them to see them. I mean, they've mastered the third-person shooting. I love what they've done with Uncharted and the combat in Last of Us. I'd love to see what they can do in sci-fi.
I mean, yeah, like I would definitely be into that myself.
I don't think we'll see them announce that though. I think the only thing we're gonna see from Naughty Dog is Uncharted. I think Uncharted's gonna be like a summer 2015 title, if not holiday 2015 title, and their other project is probably gonna be like a 2016 title, or maybe I don't know. Maybe it's that might also be a holiday 2015 title. Maybe Naughty Dog for the very first time will launch 2 big games in the same year.
You know, when you mentioned sci-fi, that instantly just made me go, wait, what? Sci-fi? Because apparently I don't seem to be having enough sci-fi games these days. So, like, there's, like, Halo Reach, and then there's, like...
I was about to say, hey, Anthony, Destiny. That's sci-fi.
Yeah, that's why I'm stoked about it, because I guess you could say I'm a little fed up with fantasy, in a way, because a gazillion games did it. It's like sci-fi. What I love about sci-fi, Halo Reach, Mass Effect.
You should play
great
StarCraft.
sci-fi universes.
You should play StarCraft 2. I think you'd like it,
especially
if you like Warcraft 3. Yeah, I'm kind of sick of fucking fantasy myself. And I'm also like I'm actually kind of burnt out on sci-fi also. Unless you want to make another Unreal Tournament, then please do. I think for me though, the game that would have me like a set, like I really like that contemporary setting. The Last of Us did, Walking Dead did, The Division is doing. Like I like present day when you do cool stuff with it. Like I like present. Like you have to do something interesting though. Like modern military is not what you do if you want to like. Unless you do Spec Ops The Line.
Actually, I just got a little worried about that because there are slowly burning up every single conceivable timeline for shooters. They burned up World War II. They burned up present day. They're now doing future-ish.
Near future. Yeah.
Near futurist, and then they're gonna go out into space and then just burn it all up.
Well, they've already burned out space. Like space was burned out a long fucking time ago. You want to talk about space being burned out? Let's talk about...
Okay. Well, for me, it hasn't been burned out because I wasn't there during the Quake Doom days, or the early 2000s.
You missed.
I just know Star Wars Battlefront.
Like Doom, Quake, fucking Unreal, Halo, Marathon. There was like it was sci-fi in World War II, and then it went to modern military, and now it's near future and modern military, and I just don't give a fuck about either. Like near future kind of interests me, but like even then, it still doesn't have enough imagination to it. I feel. I go look at Unreal Tournament, and I'm like, yeah, why can't you guys do that? That game had a lot of creativity, and it looked great, and you can mod the living crap out of it. So like not sure if you're aware of this. One of the guns in that game, or at least in the newest one, Unreal Tournament 3, could be modded to be Nincat. So for those of you,
wait, what?
Okay, so if you haven't played Unreal Tournament 3 or any of the Unreal games, there's this gun. It is called the Redeemer, right? It's called the Redeemer. And it's basically a nuke. It's a guided nuke. You fire it and it lets off a huge nuke. Well, there's this mod for Unreal Tournament 3 where when you shoot it, Nincat comes out of it and it plays the song.
That's funny.
And it has a rainbow following out of it, just like regular Nincat does. And when it explodes, it's a rainbow explosion.
Wow, that sounds pretty darn awesome.
It's
So
really. I encourage anyone who's interested in Unreal Tournament go watch. And this actually become. I encourage people to watch the show in general. It's on GameSpot. It's called The Point. I think I've shown it to you a couple times, Anthony. Um, yeah, like check it out. It has. They did an episode on Unreal Tournament recently, and then they did a House of Cards parody, which was hilarious. Um, yeah, oh man, it's well, like I'm trying to think of what to describe Sony as. Like Sony's in a really interesting place for me, but because they have all these studios, but they haven't said what any of them are working on. And Last Guardian is still in development. What the hell? So, as long as we're talking about Naughty Dog real quick, they have mentioned Jack 4 in the past like 1,000 times, and they have talked very little about this new project. So maybe it's Jack 4. Like, I mean, that would be a first for them to go revisit a franchise. But Sony owns the rights and whatnot, so they could totally go revisit Jack 4.
Yeah, but continuing on, what else do I think we're gonna see from Sony?
I was originally going to say they're going to talk about.
we'll see a Ratchet and Clank from Insomniac Games.
We got one. We got one last year. Like I don't think so.
I think we'll see an announcement of one.
Yeah, maybe
It'll be coming 2015, but I think we'll see one.
Like maybe a teaser. That makes sense.
Yeah. Which is actually kind of funny because Insomniac would be working on 2 games and both of them would be exclusives and they're for competing platforms, which is pretty funny. You have Insomniac Games building Ratchet and Clank for the PlayStation 4, and then what's their Xbox One? Sunset Overdrive for the Xbox One. Would be interesting.
So Insomniac. Insomniac's really weird to me because in 2009 they released what was essentially a perfect game in Ratchet and Clank and Crack in Time, and people are going to say I'm crazy for saying this, but Resistance 3 has probably the best single player I have played in a shooter since Half-Life 2.
I remember when you said that, you got ripped up and down.
Dude, some people said I was crazy, and I'm not the crazy one. You're all crazy. That game single player was awesome. Yeah, its multiplayer was not great. Like I will totally cop to that if you wanna talk about the game's multiplayer. I agree. It was okay.
Oh, its multiplayer was bad.
Like it was not great.
I liked the co-op in Resistance 2 though. That was fun.
That was fun. But like Resistance 3 single player was awesome. Like it was super good. It looked great. It played great. Every single mission was something different, and it had all these great guns that all had all these different modes. Like, yeah, Anthony, there you go. That is a perfect example of where shooters need to go. That game takes place in an alternate 1950s where aliens have invaded.
Wow.
Through a parasite.
Whoa.
Yeah, see, there you go. Boom. And it has all these crazy weapons. There's a wet gun that shoots through walls. There's a gun that fires razor blades. There's a gun that fires exploding razor blades. You know, like there's a gun. There's what I call the anthrax gun, which is
that just sounds terrible when you put it that way.
Yeah,
the anthrax gun. That is a terrible, terrible, terrible way to die.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much like what you do is you cover them with it, and just like giant pimples and stuff start coming out of them. And they just start exploding into what are essentially giant pus bombs. It's super gross, super just like what? Oh yeah, there was a machine gun where the bullets track people. Yeah, Anthony, you should play Resistance 3. It is definitely a different take on the standard shooter. Oh, okay. And I like that game because it did the old school thing of having health packs. Instead of
health packs.
Instead of just hide in the corner and you'll be okay, it was no, you need to be careful.
Yeah, because it's like that's one of the things, like Star Wars Battlefront 2. That's one of the things I absolutely loved about it. It's like, oh no, I'm hurt and covered in Kool-Aid. Let me just stand over
in Kool-Aid.
I mean, that's what Modern Warfare 2 did.
Yeah,
when you got
Modern Warfare 2
really hurt.
literally looked like Kool-Aid. Like, I remember when I played the multiplayer and I was getting shot, I would go, "Oh yeah!"
But yeah, it was just yeah, it was just like, you were covered in Kool-Aid. Oh man, I'm covered in Kool-Aid. Great, let me just stand over this side, because apparently in an alternative universe we have nanomachines already in our blood healing ourselves, right?
Well, that was Metal Gear's excuse, and even Metal Gear, you had to find like health items. So
yeah, but like nanomachines allow you to regen health, like freaking speedy broken limb recovery. Like urgent care just became a lot more convenient when you have a ski accident. But yeah, it's just health packs were just kind of interesting because it made you more careful. Because with regenerative health, you either die too fast for it to matter, or you just stand in the corner and everything's okay again, like in the single player of those kinds of games. So yeah. But health packs made you be careful, because in the case of Battlefront, you only have like a limited number of units that can spawn along with that you share with the AI. So if you run out of units, you fail the level. So that was kind of like one of those, you need to be pretty good at not getting killed in order to win, which I felt like, you know what, that's a great way to do a shooter.
Yeah, Anthony Anthony has kind of going through a game slump recently, and I want to introduce him to games he would normally not play to see if it gets him out of it. So I think that should be like the first one we try. Is Resistance 3.
Well, I'm open to borrowing things.
Yeah,
that's what I used to do back when I had a 360. Was when there were games I couldn't buy, I just go to my best friend and just say, "Hey, you've got Max Payne? Yeah, I'll totally borrow that."
Yeah, no, I'm
glad I borrowed it.
I have a
because I didn't buy it.
I have a more than healthy PS3 collection for you to try.
Yeah, you have like just about every important release on that system since the day it came out.
I'm missing some from like 20. Like I'm missing some games from like 2013 and 2012. But for the most part, I have the important ones. Yeah. But yeah, that's. Oh man. So I don't know. Yeah, we'll try that.
Because let's be honest, in Persona 4 I'm a little stuck, so I'm kind of open to new things.
Yeah, I'll.
Because you never know. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised by a game that I never knew that I would like.
Yeah, that is exactly why I keep a game. Well, that's exactly why I used to keep a gameplay account. Now I keep
you never know. And sometimes they're like genres that I think I get a little tired of, and all of a sudden it's like boom, it's amazing again. Like Dragon's Dogma, it's like it's a Western RPG, and one crude way of describing it is it's basically a Japanese way of trying to do Skyrim, which was not very accurate if I'm honest, but still it was like, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like one of the best games I played in the last generation, and I'm like the only guy on the planet who thinks that, but still, Dragon's Dogma is freaking awesome, and I'm gonna need to check out what their team is working on, because I did a search of that game that you told me, and I couldn't find it because it's like early development.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, that's exactly why I used to keep a GameFly account. Now I keep it because of 60-minute access. But is because I always want to try games that I normally won't try to see if I might like them, because it happens. Yes, I am very interested in Bayonetta 2. I have little to no interest in the next Drag Range, but I'm still gonna play it because I might like it.
Yeah, that's like the thing too. Is like something I've kind of discovered is like we all have that franchise that we used to love, but then because of various changes in development, changes in teams, changes in leadership, the studio's just not awesome anymore. I think a classic example is Sonic. Sonic used to be awesome. Sonic used to be awesome, and now it's not. And more recently, it's becoming the case with Halo.
Speaking of Sonic the Hedgehog, I saw this hilarious post by Jeff Gerstmann. It's just like Sonic the Hedgehog was never good. We were just young. And I'm just like, you're kind of
Oh
right.
man, that's rough.
Um,
That's kind of like why you play games, replay old games that you love to kind of see if they're still what you think they are. Like I tried replaying a little bit of Dragon Age 1, and I realized maybe this game isn't as awesome as I remember.
and you realize that game is hot garbage.
It is not hot garbage. It's just the gameplay wasn't as good because let's be honest, to me, I was really high on cinematic experiences in video games, and to me at that time, having just came out from Mass Effect 1, it was just kind of like, to me it was like this new thing that just like was like amazing to me because I hadn't seen such a thing before.
But like that's how I was with like Final Fantasy VII, and now I go back and play Final Fantasy VII, and like holy shit, that game does not hold up at all.
I would look back,
and like even by the standard of PlayStation 1 games, it has serious fucking problems that need to be addressed.
Like like I said, it was just a case of I still like Dragon Age Origins. It still has a great story.
That part of it
I've discovered that
story,
the gameplay is good enough. It's good enough, and that's something I've noticed about games is that for me to like your game, the gameplay mechanics needs to at least be good enough.
See, and in my case, like, and I've noticed, Nick, that you're that way too. It's sometimes because like there are points in Uncharted 3 that you forgive that I don't. Yeah. And I am sitting here like I like games most of the time for mechanics. Like I sit and I play. Like everyone, IGN's been having that. What's the best game of the past generation of consoles? And I would say it is the Mario Galaxies because they are mechanically perfect games and they sound great and they look great and like some people would argue Skyrim and I'm like no.
Oh, I hated that game.
What's really weird? Everyone talks about Skyrim like it's the best thing ever, but among my group of friends, we just have like no, I wouldn't say hate it, but we all at least agree that it's overrated.
Yeah,
like some of us say, oh, we like it. Like some people say, oh, it absolutely sucks, and Elder Scrolls complete garbage in general. And then you have people that say, it's not as good as Oblivion. And then you have people like me who say that, no, I still like it quite a lot because, well, let's be honest, I played it for like 70 or 80 hours. But we all just have this unanimous agreement that it's overrated.
Yeah, like that game just
like I talked to it's just like we all agreed on that. Like each of us hates it to a different degree. Or dislikes it to a different degree, but we all agree.
It was really weird that year that game came out because it made it into our top 5 because of Brittany and Aaron. Because Aaron, like, defended it.
Oh, it'll still be top 10 in my opinion. I just wouldn't be up at number 4.
I thought Catherine and Gears of War and pretty much everything else we had on that top 10 list were better video games, except for like maybe Killzone. And I would like just it astonished me that like people were that nuts about that game because I'm just like
I kind of felt like a lot of people. It was like I kind of had the same experience with Oblivion in a way. Was that it was like their first open world RPG in a way.
But like I play Oblivion, and Oblivion was not my first open world RPG. It was like
I know, but for like in the case of Skyrim, it was like the first time people like discovered quest chains and square miles of space that you could work on. Whereas the rest of us were like we've seen it in Oblivion, we've seen it in Warcraft. Stuff like that. Like I feel like that's the case because
people who are like hardcore gamers, right? Like Brittany loved Fallout, she loved Oblivion, she likes open world RPGs. I know several people that do who are really, and I know people who are like hardcore gamers who've experienced that before, and they're like Skyrim is the shit. And I'm just like, no, it's not. Like, what is the matter with you?
I could go on about why I don't think it's not as awesome because. here's the thing: you are Dragonborn. Yes, the Dragonborn that basically just tells the dragon to land so I can whack at its feet and then it dies.
I need to send you this video that compares Morrowind, and like it was by this dude called Super Bunny Hop. He does really high-minded, intellectual videos about games. It's really awesome. I encourage people to go check him out on YouTube. And it was him or some other guy I follow, but it was one of those two. And he compared Morrowind and Skyrim, and just like it showed why Morrowind is a better game, even like all these years later, even with its issues of everyone standing in the same place all the time.
Yeah, but the thing is that, like, with Skyrim, it just kind of felt like it had cool potential, but I think everyone's just a little too excited that they're the vampire werewolf dragonborn that saved the Empire while helping the Stormcloaks and slaying the Emperor and did all of these gazillion things.
I was that person in Oblivion, and even then, like, I do not praise Oblivion the way people praise Skyrim.
Like the thing was that
part of that is because of, once again, I appreciate mechanics. I want the game part of your game to be good.
Because the thing was that, like I just said, that my big problem with Skyrim is that it plays a lot better than Oblivion. It's just like if you took Oblivion's world and story and the way that world changed based on what you did, and paired it up with Skyrim's gameplay, you just made a game that I would absolutely love. But what happened in my problem with Skyrim was that you did a lot of things, but the world didn't seem to give a shit. Like, you just saved Skyrim from the big black dragon, and everyone was like, you're like, I slayed the dragon! And they're all like, you slayed the dragon? Oh, thank you. Okay, back to our Civil War. Peace.
Fun fact about that Civil War quest chain, you can, like, it used to be that you used to be able to break that shit if you had done the Imperial shit before the main quest. Like, it would break. It would just be like, we are all not going to sit down at this table or talk or do anything because...
Yeah, Skyrim felt a little unfinished, but we've talked about that a lot of times before. And you know what? That's the funny thing, too. I was a little concerned that because everyone was so overly crazed about Skyrim that I thought, like, ESO was going to be, like, the next big thing because so many people were crazed about it, and they're like, this will be the WoW killer, finally, which, yeah, looking back at that.
Yeah, it gained subscribers because of that game, weirdly enough.
Yeah, and it just doesn't... Let's be honest, I was in, like, a closed beta, so this is probably not true anymore, but back when I played, it was like, it felt like a clumsier Skyrim, and it was clumsy to the point, and weird to the point where it's like, I would rather play Skyrim. And I did. It's all on my PC. Anyways, yeah. But that's ESO. It's a multi-plat. It sells big on both systems, and let's be honest, I don't think it's gonna go exclusive anytime soon.
I think, I look at, what I want to know is, why is it that every Western RPG has to play bad?
I wouldn't say it plays bad. It's just slower.
Well,
for people like me, Skyrim plays very good. I'm totally fine with it.
The combat is so bad.
Sure,
it's terrible.
Oh my goodness! Do I really have to defend this now?
Yes, you have to defend Skyrim because
it's awful.
It's not awful. You know what? I'm just gonna be honest.
Compare that to combat of real video games.
Okay, maybe I should rephrase that. All I ever did in Skyrim was use swords.
Yeah,
and occasionally a bow, which
I use
is
a sword and shield. Or sword
in
and
that
magic.
case, it's totally fine, even though it seemed kind of archaic in early 2000s-ish. I guess
it seems super archaic that that's going on where I
think it's because it's first person. It seems a lot more tolerable to me. It was just that. As far as magic, for some reason, I just don't like doing magic ever in Elder Scrolls games because the fact that you're standing that far away and you're casting a fireball and it constantly misses is sorry, pal. But in Skyrim, I think they made it a bit better.
Wizard, so this game does not look fucked up to you.
Well. At least in Skyrim, you can just spew fireballs out of your hands, which is a lot easier than trying to aim the damn thing. from at other than trying to aim a freaking fireball.
No, like that game came out like 2 weeks before Zelda, which Zelda Sword Combat is really good. Like even the motion control one. So I'm like, why is this game this bad? And like, okay, other games have done sword combat really well. Like, God of War does swords really well. You know, No More Heroes. Like they couldn't have taken a non-terrible combat system. No, they have to like, and it never feels good. Like there's no point where I'm like fighting things in Skyrim, and I'm like, this feels fun and entertaining. Like, and I
Really?
feel like
Because I find it perfectly fine and entertaining. I don't know. It's just like you hold down. It's really. I think maybe the problem is that it's really basic in a way. You go up to things and whack them with the trigger.
Yeah,
that's
like,
it. Which it seems really basic, but for a person like me who, I guess that kind of goes back to, I kind of prefer slightly brain dead gameplay. It's a little brain dead, especially on easier difficulties. It's quite brain dead. You just run up to things and hit. Actually, the last fight in Skyrim when you're fighting the big black dragon,
it's so sad.
Pull one trigger to shout into the fog. Pull another trigger to whack it. It's actually, I hated that boss fight because that just basically summed up why Skyrim wasn't really that awesome.
What was more hilarious is like
they try to make you look like this Nordic awesomeness, but really you're not.
Yeah, and
because can you imagine that? Can you imagine that scene from a third-person perspective? If there was like a camera observing the scene like a spectator, it would be like, yow, whack, 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 yeah. It just looks really dumb.
Whack, whack. Like I compare.
It's not like if you had a spectator view of like freaking the Mass Effect 2 Human Reaper last boss fight. That was actually kind of freaking awesome.
Or like even.
Or it looks awesome at least.
Or like even like you watch the Deathwing fight in third person in WoW, and that looks way more interesting. Or at least
yeah,
the first
I guess when it comes to boss fights, Elder Scrolls doesn't exactly deliver quite the same epic that you're hoping for.
I mean,
I guess.
It's.
I don't know. It's just I'm not a game.
I like certain things about Skyrim, but
I know, but I liked a lot of things about Skyrim. It's like the world just didn't really seem to care what you did. Like, you care what you did because you're a breathing vampire werewolf who stalks the night and saves the world from flying dragons that fly backwards with the latest patch, or one of the patches. It was like the Elder Scrolls 5. The Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim is brought to you by patch 1.2, which has given dragons the ability to fly backwards. It was like
into mountains.
Into mountains, and now you're. It's just like to think a patch. To me, it just felt like the development of that game just never had the same professional level. Professional level. It was just
IGN recently had its users vote on the top 100 games of the generation. And thank God Skyrim was not number one. I was expecting it to be. I'm very happy that the gaming community at large at least doesn't have the worst taste. No, it was Last of Us was number one. Good pick, guys. Wouldn't have been my personal pick, but damn good one.
The Last of Us is so well respected. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
If it gets number one, that's totally normal.
Yeah, but Skyrim got number two, and it just how does anyone think that is you
number
look back
two? That's awful.
I think the same thing. They could list some things, and I'm like, but that's in other games too, and better.
How can you play Skyrim over Metal Gear
world,
Solid 4? That doesn't even make sense.
I sent you guys my top 10 list, and of the games they offered. Some games I wanted to put on there they didn't offer. So, but even then, okay. I could see why someone says Catherine, Last of Us, Mario Galaxy, my top
Metal
5
Gear Solid 4.
And Metal Gear Solid 4, Burnout Paradise. That was that was part of my top 10.
Uncharted 2 and 3 were amazing.
Yeah,
the original Uncharted was really good too.
Yeah, the Uncharted were solid. You know, like
Heavenly
Bayonetta.
Sword was awesome.
I wouldn't call that a game of the generation, but it was a good game.
Oh,
Like,
it's definitely in the top 100.
I could. You say that, but then you see the top 100, and you're like, oh, okay. You know, like that's.
I don't know.
I really
think
don't know. Like,
I think
like
I'd put it in the top 100.
freaking, it's like Skyrim is just like one of those.
Well, like
I'm never going to understand this. It's like how everyone loves Fallout 3, but I just
Fallout 3
don't
was number
get it.
4. Fallout 3 was number 4. So
Okay, see, I'm more insulted by that because it's
Like,
like
what was number
how?
3?
Number 3 was Grand Theft Auto 5.
Which, okay, that kind of makes sense because, well, Grand Theft Auto 5 is still fresh in people's heads, and Grand Theft Auto 5 is actually a very good game. So, okay,
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
understandable.
like that.
But
yeah, like
here's the
that's-
problem, though, is that whenever you kind of give anything to the general public,
You get gray paste back.
I mean,
But-
you get gray paste. Well, you don't get gray paste, but here's the thing: the general public likes to rate things emotionally. You find out. I mean, just look at Metacritic. There's like only 2 ways that people vote on Metacritic. They either give a 10 or a 0. Oh, this game sucks because of this thing. 0. And they never bother to look at what's actually good. Like that's kind of like what separates the average public for the most
From us.
for some parts from us, because for us it's like, well, there are things that we probably really hate about it, but there has to be some things we like Witch in the 100th Night. Emotionally, I want to say this game's really boring and I don't care about it at all. But professionally,
Well,
I
like
have to
someone might. Like that's which is one of the hardest part about writing reviews is like we are consumer advice before we are criticism.
Yeah, because it's like I could say everything that I hate about that game. People won't shut up. This, but at the same time, like, well, there has to be something that I like about it. Nothing in life, for the most part, is truly 100% bad. Like, you could have a bad car, but there's still something that you like about it. Like, for
There's
example,
one exception to that rule, and it's called Vampire Rain.
yes,
I can find
like I
something
said,
positive
like,
about Vampire
much
Rain.
like how
I
like,
found no. I found something positive about Aliens Colonial Marines. So bring it
Barely.
on.
But here's
Barely,
the thing.
but
If there is
I
a
did.
game that is truly 100% awful, like in Nick's case, Vampire Rain, those are as rare as the games that are truly perfect, like The Last of Us. Like for
Yeah, I
like
agree with
a
that.
huge majority of games, like in the middle, they kind of range from mostly mediocre or black to mostly good with problems. So here's like
I mean,
most
that's
things
why,
in life
like,
aren't truly 100% awful. For example, it's like, oh man. Dragon Age Awakening, I hated that expansion pack. I was like, this thing is a complete waste of money if you bought it. But what did I like about it? Well, what did I like about it?
I mean, like a perfect example is I recently reviewed Demon Gaze and I wasn't super high on that game. I ended up giving it a 7 because I acknowledge that while it does not fit my taste, it is still a good game. But like when you sit and like it's so hard to review games because it is art that you're essentially critiquing.
Yeah,
And-
like what you say is only your opinion. It's not,
and everyone has different opinions on mechanics and and that's part of the reason why we have a lot of personality in our shows. Like, so when I go and talk, like, just you see me play a fighting game and I give it a 10 or like a 9 or a 10 or a high score, oh, okay, then that makes sense because he knows fighting games and knows how they work and enjoys them. Like when you see me review a MOBA, it's probably not a good indicator because I don't like that genre and I don't play it much and I just don't find it entertaining. Or a better example is a game like Skyrim, where the mechanics in it are flawed as fuck. So
it's fine.
Okay. We can have this argument.
Look, maybe that's not exactly the right example. Like, you could say something like the soundtrack of Devil May Cry. It's like sometimes it's just we try to be as neutral, but there's always going to be like that one thing that just ticks us off that makes no sense.
I'm still pissed off Devil May Cry made into a Game of the Year awards. That's just sickening.
Well, guess what? Aaron's not here to defend it now, is he?
Yeah. No,
because I remember Aaron when Aaron argued its number, and I'm like, fine, everyone's gonna get their number 1 on the list some way. And Aaron puts Devil May Cry number 9. I'm like, okay, Aaron, can you write a paragraph, please? And I remember he wrote great soundtrack, and I had to read that. And I remembered that I tried looking for music for that game, and it was damn near impossible to find any song that I thought was okay.
Yeah, no. Like,
so I picked the least offending.
That's the one game on our top 10 where I'm just like, the fuck. Like, I look at our top 10 last year, and it was almost perfect.
It's like an Esper. It's like the Esper moment. You've seen the Esper picture for Pokemon X and Y, like on Tumblr and stuff, right? Just that weird facial expression, and everyone's like, the fuck. Well, that's kind of how I felt about Devil May Cry. I'm just like, I'm open to the fact that, you know what, I kind of like its art style, and you know what, maybe the gameplay is cool, but I didn't play it. But the music, what is this?
Some of the levels in that game were really cool, like artistically. Like that game, from an artistic standpoint, is awesome. I'll be honest about that. Like that game, from an artistic standpoint, looks really good, but from like a gameplay standpoint, there are a lot of action games that do what it does better, and from a story standpoint, it's just bad, and then from a music standpoint, it's horrible. So
yeah, I did a pretty darn good job hiding it. Just like it has an awesome soundtrack.
Yeah. And I think about the games that came out last year that we could have like put in that spot, and like, you know, like BioShock.
I still have like the freaking list actually.
BioShock, Tomb Raider,
Fire Emblem's the list. Project Cross Zone, fucking Animal Crossing, Zelda.
Zelda would have been a good choice. Zelda between worlds. Like even if that was at number 10, I'd be like, that's totally okay.
Like Animal Crossing would have been a good pick. Like
that would have been nice, yeah.
Animal Crossing is crap.
Thomas Was Alone could be there.
Thomas Was Alone was great. Like you haven't played. Like there were a lot of really good games, but like Aaron just kept insisting that no, man, you guys don't get it. And I'm like, you're right.
We don't get it.
We don't. Sometimes Nick's picks are not perfect to me, but like typically I understand them at least. Like I can sit there and go, oh, okay, like I get why you would rate like Far Cry 3 really high. You know, like I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand. The only exception to that rule has been Assassin's Creed 3. But like
that game was not as bad as you made it seem.
That game was shit, and it was especially shit if you played on
consoles. Yes.
Like it was.
That was one of the games that I actually played through on the PC. On the PC, it was pretty good.
Like man, the console. First off, the fact that we had to put an asterisk next to that one and say PC makes it even worse. But then the fact that just so like, especially when like that was the year Sleeping Dogs came out. Sleeping Dogs was super fucking good, and it got beat out by that game. Like Sleeping Dogs was one of the free games they gave with Games of Gold, and I played it over my winter break because I was super broke and I kind of just had to deal with freebies. So, and man, like just Sleeping Dogs was awesome, and that one, that like Assassin's Creed beat that out. I didn't like Dishonored, but everyone else did. It beat that out. It beat Mass Effect out, which, we can argue about that ending some more. Why don't we? But, oh, God. Ugh. And then, like, 2011, our top 10, like, there's not much you can argue about. Like, that was good. 2011 was solid. Like, no, every game deserves to be there. As much as I dislike Skyrim, it deserves its spot there.
Skyrim is good. It's just, it's very good. It's just, there were major problems that I felt like this is a game that's very commendable, but it isn't something that I felt deserved all like the praise and love that it did, because let's be honest here, the game came out broken like every other Elder Scrolls game, except in this case it seemed exceptionally broken.
I will say one thing I really did like about that game was its soundtrack. Like that game's soundtrack was really good. It was quite nice. it had good atmosphere.
Let me tell you, the main theme of Skyrim is like freaking. Yeah, that's like. It's very manly.
I enjoy all the videos
it just gets
of
you
like.
stoked.
I enjoy all the religious videos that came with that song of like praise Jesus and then the chorus erupts to that song. It's hilarious to me. So that's been fun. Yeah, no, like 2011 was the one that like I look at, I'm like, yeah, there's nothing there that I can really argue against. I mean, I wasn't super big on Killzone 3, but it was at least a great video game and deserves to be in the top 10. Catherine was up there, Yakuza, Batman. Like Skyrim's the only game on that list I didn't really love, and even it's not a bad game. Oh my god. You know what? I think this year is probably going to be the worst year of all. And here's why I say it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
it's been delayed. We all know, like, we can pretty much say, like, right now what our number one game is. And it's like, well, our top 3 we can pretty much list. And Destiny and Infamous are definitely going to be in there. I mean,
yeah, like,
what else is coming out? It's going to be Destiny, Infamous, and probably, I don't know. Maybe like Smash Brothers or something.
Like, I think Donkey Kong will probably make the list. Like, that's a really good game. Transistor's been pretty solid, so that has a shot depending on what comes out exactly. Like, I mean, so Anthony, you haven't got to play much new releases this year, so I guess I'll look for Nick. Like, Nick, what are your 3 favorite games that have come out at this halfway point? Because we're at the halfway point now.
Oh gosh, definitely Infamous. That's an easy one. Oh man, what else has come out?
Transistor, Outlast, Mercenary Kings.
Like Ground Zeroes was just too short.
Yeah, like if that was like a full release, I would say shit. Yeah, that game
was...
Like Anthony, you got to see a little. You got to taste a little Metal Gear. What do you think of the future of Metal Gear?
Yeah, I mean, like
it's shocking.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Like, let me put it that way. It's shocking. Like, the stealth seems smarter, but the thing that really, the thing, sorry, I'm really distracted. And my brain is thinking straight. But the thing that really shocked me was, like, the stealth is kind of cool, but oh my goodness, the story is like, if that is what they're doing in the Phantom Pain, in the Ground Zeroes, what are they going to do in the Phantom Pain? Because that was already really shocking. That was really scary and just hard to watch before Bronson decides to completely destroy it with the Nincat song.
Yep.
And exposed the psycho in the room that day.
Guys, I would just like to say I'm a comedic genius, and I am for hire for other podcasts. So... like one thing I'll say, they really have improved the stealth a lot, and I really am, the Phantom Pain, they're in the trailers, they're already showing waterboarding and child soldiers. Like, how fucked is that? Like child soldiers and water torture. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, I can't wait for that game.
Well, 2015. Well, the reason I say, the reason I think this year is going to be really bad at the end of the year is because there's no, last year, there were 3 games that we can point to and be like, those are the 3 best games of the year, or 4 best, now argue about them.
And one of them was one of the best we've ever seen in recent memory.
Yeah.
And the year before that, we kind of had that moment too, except it was a point-and-click adventure game that no one saw coming.
Man, okay, so I gave you that code for the 2nd season. You need to start that. And get caught up.
I know. I'll get caught up after E3. Everything that's on the backlog is, we just say after E3.
Yeah, that
it's game, like, there's E3, and then there's everything else.
But that game is definitely I'm actually 1 episode behind in The Wolf Among Us, I think those two Telltale games could make the top 10 this year. Like I think they're both legit games. So, by the way, we fucked up on our Game of the Year list last year on Best PC Game. Hearthstone was actually still in beta, but we put it on our 10. So that was a boo-boo. So Hearthstone is a 2014 release, turns out. That'll be in my personal top 10. Which, hey, Anthony, Nick, if that's free to play, you guys should try it. So,
I don't know, maybe those aren't my type of games.
Come on, man. Just it could be your first card game you get addicted to. So good. Like Magic the Gathering, but on crack. Oh, man. One thing I can say about this year is this is the year that I have really gotten into free-to-play. Like, I have played a lot of Dota, a lot of League. Now I'm in the Heroes of the Storm, Alpha, and a lot of Hearthstone, so... Yeah, I don't know, but, so, Nick, you said Infamous is one. Like, what are the others?
Infamous, I guess I'd put Titanfall in there.
Yeah, oh, man. Titanfall's a game that, it's not one of my favorites, but I played the living shit out of it, so I kind of want to
Yeah, it's
put
just
it up there.
I don't know what else to put in there for this year, though.
Oh.
There's not really been much to release this year so far.
I know what my number one is so far, and that's Donkey Kong. I showed it to Anthony and Bremen. That game is damn near perfect. And it was also one of those ones that kind of snuck up on me because I was like, okay, it's 2D Donkey Kong, it's Nintendo, da 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 da. I'll read it when it comes out, and I read it and I was blown away by it. As for the others, though, that's Infamous would be my number 2 for sure. Well, then my third spot could be anything because I really did like Hearthstone, but I also like Transistor, and Mario Kart's been great, and so is Titanfall. So,
Yeah, it's just like you said, the Game of the Year awards for this year aren't going to be that good.
They're not going to be that good, and they're also going to be, I think, way more fighting. Because like I said, we're not going to have, like last year, it was very apparent the 4 best games of last year were our top 4. It's Dota, Mario, Last of Us, Grand Theft Auto. It was very apparent. And then, you could argue the rest from there. Not the case with this year. This year, you could any of the games we've talked about so far, you could argue that why this or that is better. That's the reality of it. So, oh man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But let's continue with the back to the E3 predictions. We went off a long tangent there. I'm gonna make a bold prediction here. Call me crazy, but I know it's pretty bold. But I think we're gonna see Red Dead Redemption 2 announced as a time exclusive for PlayStation 4.
I think we're gonna see it announced. I don't think it's gonna be a time exclusive. I also think that this is another obvious one. We are getting a we're getting a PS3 price drop.
Yeah, we could see that. Because the thing is, if Microsoft comes out and they announce Fallout 4 the time exclusive, Sony has to have something to counter that. That's going to be huge.
Yeah, once again, I definitely could see that. Red Dead would be good. I really liked Red Dead Redemption.
Whatever happened to that Rockstar game Agent? I mean, they've renewed the trademark, and if you go to the Rockstar website, it's still on there. It's are we getting this? When are we going to see that?
I care 1,000 times more about Last Guardian. That's
a game I don't care about. Because not my type
But
of
dude,
game.
did you play Shadow of the Colossus? That game was the shit.
Shadow of the Colossus was good, but it's just I don't know. I'd be more excited about freaking
Maybe
Agent.
that giant bird monster is killing other giant bird monsters. No. So we already know how that game is going to end. The boy dies and the bird dies. There's no other way that game ends. It's just not happening. No. I don't know what would be sadder, but
Or maybe the bird sacrifices his life to save the kid's life.
yeah. Well, like I said, one of them's going to die, at least. Like that's how those all have ended, right? Like,
Yeah.
like fucking the end of Shadow of the Colossus. So spoiler alert, the game is 8 years old at this point. So I hope you finished it. And then the remake is 2 years old. So you've had time. You've all had time. But is like, oh yeah, these people you were working for to kill these Colossus was really like the Dark God, and you just set darkness upon the world and killed yourself because you're the host for the new god. But as promised, we will bring your lady friend back and your horse, and you will be revived as a baby. So enjoy being with your lady friend as a baby, I guess. I think that game was so fucked.
There's a lot of hype for
I
that
didn't finish
last
Shadow of the
Guardian
Colossus
game.
because I think I got stuck. Because it's like one of those games where it doesn't exactly hold your... I guess it's a little bit like Dark Souls in a way.
I don't know how anyone gets stuck in that game.
I don't know. I just play... Maybe I didn't get stuck. Maybe it's more like, doesn't really click with me. I guess.
I think... I also think I remember that I actually found a really good condition copy of Ico at a Game Crazy for $5, and I bought it. And up until when the collection came out, those were actually still worth a good amount of money. Now they're worth nothing because of the collection of the digital, but hey. Yeah. Ico was the one I didn't really click with. Like, I thought the storytelling was cool. I thought the idea behind the game was cool, but I don't know. Like, Shadow was the one that really clicked with me, and I can definitely see that with this new one. So,
but yeah, I really want to see some from Agent, but I don't know. As far as other announcements from PlayStation, Wonder Book 2
PlayStation
maybe.
Now. PlayStation Now.
Oh yeah, PlayStation Now. They're definitely going to.
Also,
I think
you're
they're
saying
gonna,
it wrong. Wonderbook.
I think they're gonna announce PlayStation Now probably going to a public beta this summer, because they've pretty much announced it's gonna be delayed and releasing this fall, instead of this summer. So I think public beta this summer. Plus, it needs some work. How would I know? I don't know, but yeah. So
And Nick gets sued.
yeah, so I don't know anything, but yeah, so PlayStation Now will definitely have a presence. I think we'll see Sony talk about PlayStation Plus again, how well it was doing, and I don't know, they'll probably announce next month's games for PlayStation 4. Like, they'll probably announce a big game, like maybe freaking, I don't know, like a big game coming to the PlayStation 4 for free.
I think they'll also finally, like, they keep the same 3 titles in there, like, which for a year.
Well, Resogun's been a part of PlayStation Plus forever.
Well, I think everyone who gets a PS4 should get that amazing game for free. It should be a right.
It should be a right.
Yeah, it should just come with the system. But no, what I was talking about is like on PlayStation 3, they have had Uncharted 3, Little Big Planet 2, I think, and XCOM on there forever with other titles they've been swapping out. It is time to change those to something newer.
Well, yeah, they released NBA 2K14 for free, which is crazy.
Well, yeah, like that's one of the monthly swap outs. Like,
yeah, that's just insane. Like, it's still the latest and greatest basketball title, and they have it in there. And the NBA playoffs are going on right now. That's crazy.
I think that's why they did it.
Yeah, but man, it's crazy.
I mean, like it's still kind of nuts to me that like, oh man, that I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff with that, but I don't know. Man, E3 is right around the corner though. It's just so weird to think about. So weird.
In a few days, we'll be in Los Angeles.
How like yeah, it's
Like, that's like the thing I want to say about E3. Like, some people have told me, you are so lucky to get into E3, and what I tell them is, no, it's not luck. It's not luck. It's not like you just randomly fill out an application and they just lottery pick the winners that get to go in. No,
it's a lot of work.
Like, professionally, we've been at the Gamer Access for over 3 years.
Yeah, it was our third birthday.
And not only do you have to get accepted into E3, you have to get the money to go to. Like, last year, we could have been at E3, but guess what? We didn't have the finances to be able to go.
I just was fired a week beforehand, actually. At the time. Which, man, you want to talk about a good time to get fired, right? as you never want to lose your job, like, ever. No one does. But, if it's gonna happen and you're a gamer, during E3 is probably the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like people say, it's like, oh, you're so lucky. No, that's not really luck. Maybe if you're like a small site and you're kind of having a bit of a hard time trying to get things together, maybe you would be lucky.
That's what when people say you're lucky, though. It's like I've learned.
It's like I look at them. It's like, how long do you think I've been doing this?
The thing I've learned is most people, when they say you're lucky, they don't mean it as like literally you're lucky. They mean it from the standpoint of that like they're jealous, like they wish they could go and like be in your shoes. Like that's what I've learned. It's like a lot of people use that word lucky, and sometimes it sounds almost insulting, but they don't really mean it like that.
I mean, yeah,
so it's almost like it's envy. Like they envy you would be like the better word for it. But
okay,
yeah.
Yeah, like I definitely see.
Because I mean, when I tell people I'm going to E3, they're like, "Yeah, oh man, can you get me in?" And I'm like, "It's not like that. It's not that easy. Like, I can't just get anyone a badge. Like, I had to go out of my way to just get us badges, you know? Like,
yeah, I mean, you gotta think about how much fucking work we put. Like, on an average week, Anthony and I do about 10 hours of work. Kyrie does, probably about 3 to 5. Bremen, I don't know how long it takes to draw those comics, but he's with us for part of the videos. So let's say Bremen's putting in 12 to 13 because he's drawing,
And I'm doing a lot, mostly stuff behind the scenes. Like, the whole reason we're going to E3 is because I secured a sponsorship with Seagate, and like stuff like that. It's not just me writing an email to Seagate and being like, "Hey, can you sponsor us?" Sure, here's the money. Like, it doesn't work that way. I wish it was that easy, but it doesn't work that way. Like, there's so many things you gotta make sure it's done right, and you have to send coverage plans and send proposals. And
the thing that I find funny is like, I say we're a small website. The correct term, considering our traffic, is probably mid-sized. But I still go small because I want us to get a lot bigger. And also I need to keep myself motivated, or else I'll get lazy. And I'll say, oh yeah, we're going to E3. It's like, dude, you're not small. You're going to E3. It's like, well, yeah, but a lot of publications are going to E3 that are small. Like, I am friends with one of the editors over at this website called 8-Bit Fix. Have any of you guys heard of this place? No? Okay.
No, I haven't.
No surprise. But yeah, they're going. Like, they're, credit, they have to pay their own way, not on sponsorship, but still, like, they are going. And they're probably going to do more standard news coverage, which that's one way that we're differentiating ourselves. Like, going, I would say if you want to get into E3, as press at least, then I am going to estimate you're probably going to be working your ass off for at minimum 3 years. And you need to build an audience.
Especially now, like, E3, it's not like it was, let's say, 3-4 years ago. Like, I remember 3-4 years ago, if your Alexa was, let's say, below 200,000, you could get 6-7 badges, like, easily, like, not even a problem. Like, but today it's so much more difficult. I mean, we had an issue, unfortunately, with our tracking where our website wasn't properly being tracked by Alexa, so that it wasn't reporting correctly, and that made
They were
getting
also
badges
using
kind of
like a different
difficult.
tracking service too to check.
Right.
Like they weren't using Alexa or Quantcast. They were like using
Compete.
Yeah.
Which Compete, I'm actually been emailing back and forth with them trying to figure out why our site isn't listed in there. But we're listed on Alexa and Quantcast, and the tracking issue was fixed, and it kind of hurt us for E3. Next E3, it definitely won't be a problem. Next E3, I'll probably be able to get probably 10 badges with the site with the traffic we have. But they've consistently made it more and more difficult year over year to get into E3.
I think with the explosion of the internet and the explosion of like little YouTube channels, like like Bronson and I, we watched a clip of these two dudes from was it this called Two Best Friends, right?
Yeah, Two Best Friends.
They went to E3 and they're only like they're effectively like two people basically doing a lot of work, and they went to E3, and so you have a lot of like smaller YouTube channels that are suddenly bursting with hundreds of thousands of views. And they're all trying to get into E3 as well.
They all want to get in, and you remember when we first started making videos, like you started in 2008, right? Yeah,
2008 sounds right.
Yeah, and I started blogging in 2006, 2005, started a website in 2008, and Anthony started in 2009. The tools back then were so not around.
The tools were there, but they were just They were really primitive. Granted, I don't know how you can get tools today even, but back then it was like Windows Movie Maker was every YouTuber's best friend. Because that was the only editing software that didn't completely punch a gigantic hole in your wallet.
Yeah, that was, oh man, there's so much like that, but YouTube wasn't as big then. Like, it was getting big, but it wasn't as big. And there weren't as many video hosting sites. And, the idea of going to E3 as a YouTuber wasn't a thing. And the idea of just so much shit was different. It was a really different world. That was only 6 years ago. Now now there's more people doing it. So you have to stand out more. But it's also a lot easier to create. It's straight up a lot easier to create. Now if you want to learn to edit video, like Anthony, you don't got to do special effects really though. Yet.
Yeah, I have no idea how to do special effects.
You don't know how to do special effects, which is fine, because I guarantee you, when you want to learn them, there is a very extended tutorial on YouTube how to do it.
Yep.
Was not the case when we first, when we were doing things.
Back in the 2000s, you had to be like a professional that went to school or something.
Or you had to do what we did.
Or teach yourself, which is what I did.
Yeah, teach yourself or bought a book.
Yeah, Anthony learned all his video shit by practice.
That's something that's pretty cool. What's really funny is that I went to Barnes & Noble today. Oh, Bronson, Cheesecake Factory is actually coming to the mall.
Oh God!
It's actually happening. I just freaking saw the sign and
I know you texted me and my pants are wet. Dear Jesus! And also we are going to be in LA where there's a Cheesecake Factory. Fuck yes, Dick. We are eating.
But the thing is,
you can walk to the Cheesecake Factory from where I live.
Yeah,
great. We'll go there for dinner one day.
We are going there at least once, maybe twice.
Okay, so what was I talking about again? Oh yeah, Barnes & Noble. I went to Barnes & Noble and I found this 100 or 150 page book that says of tricks and how to use Adobe Premiere Pro, and I just thought, well, you know what? I use Premiere Pro a lot, but I kind of feel like maybe there's some advanced bits in there that I don't know about because all I do is just edit on templates, really, in a way. And I read through the book, and I just was I was just kind of baffled by how simple the book was, and how I already knew almost everything. Like, it was telling me how to avoid flash frames or blank frames, and I already was doing that stuff. How to adjust audio with keyframes. To me, that's easy. I'm just reading this book, and I'm just like, I didn't know that I had already self-taught myself.
Yeah.
80% of this book.
It's amazing, like, when you, like, because this is a thing, like, we don't really recognize it because we do it slowly and over time, but it's like you learn things about, like, running a website and video editing and audio editing. You learn the little bits in here and there, and you're building upon your knowledge. And I mean, you think, well, you consistently think, hey, I haven't really learned much or done much, but then you look at the grand scope of things, and you're like, holy shit!
Yeah,
Like-
like I thought to be a good to be a good unquote video editor, I had to learn special effects. I had to learn how to make, drag them. I had to learn how to make, like, gigantic lasers shoot out of people's eyes. Like, I have to know how to do special effects in order to be qualified as a video editor, because every time I look at job applications, they're always asking for people who know After Effects, and I don't. And
we'll get you there. I have some
well,
ideas
I need
for
to, like,
videos.
I need to sit down one day and, like, practice. Like, the closest thing I made to special effects was the GameCraft video logo, and that's gone. That's old now. So, but I thought that was the case, and then I read stuff in Premiere Pro books, and I'm like, is it just me, or is this book telling me that I actually know almost everything about Premiere Pro? There's something wrong here. I don't know everything about Premiere Pro, yet this book is telling me I know every single basic feature of Premiere. How's that possible? All I do is just drag stuff and just trim them and, add fade effects and adjust volume. That's it.
Like, on the editorial end of things, I will go back and I'll read my older stuff, like, even from a year ago, and I'm like, or, like, right at, like, 6 months into working at TGA, and I'm like, well, my vocabulary is better now, and I have better word use, and I flow better, and...
Oh my gosh, I remember back in the day when I had to edit Bronson's articles. Oh.
Yeah, now you only need to edit them partially.
Yeah. It was like rewriting an entire article when it came to editing Bronson's stuff.
Nick, like, freaking, can you imagine doing that 2 years before
meeting
Bronson? Because that's what I had to do. I just looked at this stuff, I'm like, journalism.
There's no way.
Well,
yeah.
Drastic improvement happened. Anyway, as Anthony, who read my Danganronpa review, can see.
It's improving. That's a very, very good thing. It's just that back in the old days, it was kind of like... Oh, yeah. It was like... my writing back in the old days wasn't very good either, because you kind of noticed I was, like, kind of going on tangents a lot.
Both of our writing was still better than Andy's, though, so we're
I guess. Okay. Oh, man. Freaking, you want to talk about awful... Bronson's writing was awful, and my first video reviews were just... I look back at them and I just think these are atrocious.
Yeah.
Lousy editing.
Which is good, because honestly, like, if you look back at something you did 2 years ago, if it looks close to what you're doing now, that's a bad thing. That's a terrible thing, because that shows you haven't done anything in 2 years.
Like, I had...
Thanks, Nick. It's great to know that I made next to zero video reviews in the last 2 years.
No, all I'm saying, Anthony, is if you look at your video reviews from a couple years ago to now, there's a drastic increase.
Well, like...
Yeah, I could say, yeah, like...
I think a perfect example of this is, like, my 3DS review was in the TMCC paper. One of our college's papers. And I read that and I'm like, this is kind of shit. Like, it's alright, but how the fuck this got in the paper, I don't know. And then I read the other stuff that's happening in the entertainment section of, it's called The Sagebrush, is the UNR one. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I read the other stuff that's in the Sagebrush and whatever the TMCC one is called. I'm like,
I'm gonna try and not comment too much on that.
I was just like,
Let's just say that I've had, let's just say that once every few months, one of my college buddies brings in the paper and points out an article that we all just look at and just think, how did this get here?
No, I think I look at, like, UNR's entertainment writers are bad. Like they are legit. Like that's what they do. That's when you write about games, you're writing under entertainment because they try and keep it like a standard newspaper. Um, but man, their entertainment section, their entertainment team is horrible. Like just, like they don't know how to write for it, and part of the fact
I'm not
that
really going to comment on that because I don't read that.
Part of the reason that we can write for it is we do it constantly. That's that like I've been doing this for 3 years on my own, and I'm better than this kid who's been doing it at college for 3 months. I wonder why.
Man, it's just like whenever you look at old stuff, you're just kind of baffled how that even worked. And yeah, it's just I look like if I can't even bring myself to watch those really old first reviews.
I tried to find your Pokemon Puzzle League one, and I couldn't find it.
Search Gamecraft.
I did. I couldn't find it. I tried to find your Smash one also.
That's weird.
Oh well, I'll probably be.
Oh well, I don't know. I have a video archive, so maybe I could just send you a file and then just immediately delete it off the server out of sheer embarrassment because it was so bad. It had like the worst monotone. It was poorly edited, poorly written. The only thing you could say that was remotely good was probably the editing, but even then it was painful to watch because the audio was garbage. It was made in Windows Movie Maker, and you didn't have like layers in Movie Maker or audio layers like you do in Premiere or Sony Vegas. So I had to like render the audio and then just use that audio and then put like another layer on top of that to kind of make it look like there's freaking. And I used to narrate them on the fly. Like I would play the video on the screen and then start talking to keep up with that video, which was an absolutely terrible way to do it. Because the best way to do it in video reviews is to write a script. Is to write a script, finish your audio, then put video that goes with what your audio is doing, which is the easiest way. Because that way, if, for example, if I were to talk about gameplay, well, best thing that makes sense is to put gameplay footage where I talk about gameplay, or if I talk about, presentation and art, let's put some footage in that highlights the art of the game instead of narrating on the fly and trying to not fumble because that is a little too
I remember.
Anyways, let's just say that I learned really fast.
I will say that so those of you who read our editorial stuff notice that we have been watching 6-Minute Access recently noticed we have had a new contributor named John Macaluso worked on stuff with us. Very cool dude. I think he has a lot of potential to be another good staff member for us, so we're trying him out. And I'm reading his stuff, and this is like his first real game journalism he's done outside of a blog he's been doing for the past couple months. And I'm like, if this is his starting point, his stuff when he improves is going to be fantastic. And like I look at all of our stuff that when we started, it's shit, and when you start, it's going to be shit. Like the best you can hope for.
At the time, you won't think it's shit though.
Yeah, like
at the time you'll think it's the greatest thing, and then you look at it 2 years later and you're like, what the fuck was wrong with me?
Yeah, like even us as podcast hosts, like I have become a way better podcast host.
If there's something that says about our podcast, about 3 years ago when we were first with Gamer Access, we were struggling to find an hour worth of things to talk about. We would struggle. And now here we are sitting here at 2 hours and 20
hours.
Yeah, and here we are at 2.5 hours on Unscripted Access, and we just talk until we're tired.
Yeah, I mean, look at the latest Gamecast. Like, we didn't even need a topic list. We just started.
We just winged it, and guess what? Bam, 2 hours.
Yeah, like
like that.
And as a podcast host, and participant, I think I've gotten better at directing flow and knowing when to cut people off or cut. The hard one I'm having trouble with now is knowing when to cut myself off. Like that's the one I'm having trouble with now. But even then, like that'll come with time, as the other stuff did. It is a business where you constantly have to improve. Like a year ago or a year and a half ago, I didn't have any PR skills. Now I do part of the PR. It's great, and by great I mean horrible. Yeah, Nick, you were totally right. That job sucks.
Yeah, when I say that working with PR sucks, I'm not exaggerating by any means.
No, I got a taste of that. Like I was like Anthony, we split responsibilities on the site pretty evenly as best we can anyway for people's different skill sets and whatnot. I'm a people person, so I had no trouble starting to learn PR when like Nick, you got hurt and sick, so well, we need to contact people and certain people need to be talked to, so I guess I'll do it. And I learned and found out, like, oh man, like, really, like, this many people can't respond to an email with the word no or yes. Uh, like, that's irritating.
Or you'll submit a request to review something and they'll never respond, but still send it to you.
That's a fun one. Or you'll ask for one game and they'll send you everything.
Oh, I've had that happen before. What happened was that it was like, hey, Anthony, you're a racing game fan, right? I'm like, okay. Yeah, they have this Sonic racing game coming out. I'm like, okay, cool. 360 plays. So they sent me the 360 version, and I'm like, sweet. Reviewed it. Done. And then just before we left for CES, all of a sudden, randomly, Anarchy Reign shows up at my door. And I'm like, what?
Which, you know what? That's okay, because that game is awesome.
And then Colonial Marine showed up at my door.
That game,
and that was the last game game Sega sent us.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, it couldn't have been anything to do with the 3 out of 10 I gave that game, which was very generous. I might have had. I remember that. What was my quote? If you are an Aliens fan, you should be insulted. They thought you would like this game.
Yeah, that was. Oh wow, that's a brutal comment right there.
I had a lot of biting, mean comments in that one. I remember.
I think that's like one of my favorite lines that you have written. Yeah, you should be insulted that they thought you would like this.
Yeah, like that was definitely one of the ones that was just like first off, I didn't even finish that game, and you're like, well, how'd you review? Like, and you're like, well, why'd you review it if you didn't finish it? Because I got halfway through the game, you see, and my gun disappeared. And I don't mean like it disappeared as in, oh, they take your gun away in the game. No, as in it literally disappeared. He looked like he was holding a gun. It wasn't there. And he couldn't fire it. So I couldn't fire guns anymore. So I had and I was halfway through the game, and at that point my options were, well, I can either not play anymore, or I can start this game over, or just not play, go to the multiplayer, play enough of it to understand it, and then write a review. And that's what I went with. And I'm gonna say, if I would have continued with the next 2 to 3 hours of that game, I'm guessing my opinion of it wouldn't have changed much. Because...
And he may have shot himself.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Because that game had a bug, I am alive today. But no, they're just, oh god, like that was a perfect example of just no. So they haven't sent us anything since, and they haven't responded to any requests since. So, no, that's fine. If we want to cover Sega games, all 2 of them, we will rent them, I guess. In fact, so we do a series every week. I'm sure you're all aware of it, where we show off a new game. We do not buy the most of these. Which means we have to get them through other means. We try review copies, but
or off the back of a truck.
Or yeah,
just joking.
No, or GameFly. GameFly has all of you who like 60-minute access. You like GameFly now, because that is how that show happens. Because there is no fucking way we can afford all those games. No fucking way. Not possible. At least on our budget and our jobs. So you're like, okay, well, Redbox. Redbox doesn't keep the selection that we need. Okay.
Yeah, they don't. I haven't been to a Redbox that was PlayStation 4 and Xbox One games yet.
Yeah. Okay. Blockbuster out of business. Last one in town went out of business finally. So that leaves GameFly. So be thankful that we have that, I guess. I mean, like this year, if you had to get off games that we bought, you would have had the PlayStation Plus games, Transistor, Metal Gear, Infamous, Mario Kart, Final Fantasy X, and that's it. Maybe Donkey Kong. Um, oh, and you would have had Titanfall because the beta was free. So, oh man. So I guess here is I guess we're getting to the end here. So I guess
Yeah,
we should
let's
go.
just really quick run through EA and Ubisoft. I think with EA, I think we're gonna see a Mirror's Edge 2, and then once again, I've actually heard from a couple sources. We'll see what happens. That new Burnout's going to be announced, which I would be extremely stoked for. I think we'll see gameplay of Battlefront. Of course, we're gonna talk about Madden and all that stuff. And hey, yeah, new Madden experience. When in reality, it's the same game. So, and then they'll talk about Battlefield Hardline. But I think the two big announcements from those are going to be Mirror's Edge 2 and Burnout. And then from Ubisoft, I really don't think we're going to. I mean, they may announce like one game, but it's just they've got so many games they're working on. Like, they just released Watch Dogs, but they still have The Crew. They still have The Division, which I'm sure is taking a lot of their resources. They have Assassin's Creed Unity, and they have Far Cry 4. So I think they'll announce like one game that we had no clue about, but then we'll see maybe gameplay of The Division, some more info on Assassin's Creed Unity, and then some more information and gameplay on Far Cry 4.
Yeah. I think we're gonna see a lot of Star Wars, a lot of Battlefield, and Mirror's Edge. I think for Ubisoft, I just don't care. That's just like Ubisoft. Everyone fucking loves that company, and the only thing that they have, like, everyone talks about Assassin's Creed and the Tom Clancy games and fucking Far Cry, and I just don't care about any of it. The one franchise I care about they have is Rayman, and then they just showed a trailer for a new game made by the Rayman guys. So,
The
yeah.
Division doesn't have you excited?
That has me excited, so I guess 1 out of 8 Ubisoft games matter to me.
Okay, that's interesting. Like, the reason why I kind of like keep an eye on Ubisoft a bit is I kind of noticed that they're one of like the only major third-party publishers that still actually do something with the Wii U.
Well,
Like,
I keep an eye on them because they're one of the only ones who do new IP.
Yeah, like, they're doing new IP, and actually that kind of goes back to the Nintendo thing. You might hear something from Ubisoft. Like, they're still working on a Wii U version of Watch Dogs, and for some reason, like, they still do things with that. The Assassin's Creed 4 came out for, like, EA has effectively pretty much bailed out on the Wii U. Like, they said, we've given up, and then all of a sudden they changed their mind to, like, okay, actually, we're still doing something.
I have the Ubisoft game I give a shit about, and I hope they have it at E3. It's called Valiant Hearts: The Great War.
Actually, I think they did say that's going to be there.
Okay, yeah, great. Let's set up an interview.
Yeah, but they're like one of the only like third parties left that put stuff on the Wii U, or at least try to like put at least a smile for where the EA is just kind of given up completely. So it's like, okay.
All right, so yeah, I'm adding Valiant Hearts to our E3 list. It's literally the only Ubisoft game I care about. Everyone look up Valiant Hearts. It looks really funny and really cool. And if you like Tim Schafer games, it kind of reminds me of that also. Anyway, we should get on to... Oh, actually, first off, before we get on questions, I have a question for everyone here. What company are you most excited to hear from and see at E3?
Me, Sony, and then Microsoft.
Nintendo, and then Microsoft.
I'm gonna say Nintendo and EA. because in the case of EA, well, let's be honest, I'm not exactly a big fan of them, but let's be honest here, they're making Dragon Age 3 and it's coming out this year, and they're making Star Wars Battlefront.
All right, so
Yeah.
here's
I really
one.
hope they don't mess up Star Wars Battlefront.
I hope
Alright.
it isn't just like Battlefield with a Star Wars face on it, because there was a reason why I loved
I mean, that's what
Battlefront
Star
2.
Wars Battlefront was, though.
It kind of was.
Battlefield.
It was basically Battlefield. But I'm talking about like at least the game needs. I would like the game to have the same feel as Battlefront 2, but being the fact that Battlefront 2 is almost 10 years old now, I don't think it's going to be the same feel as. And let's be honest, I actually haven't even played a Battlefront game except for 3, so it's like I don't even know anymore. But I hope it keeps the feel. But considering that
just cover me in Burnout goodness. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, Burnout could happen too. Because
just cover me in another Burnout paradise.
There's been so many people requesting it. The Criterion's
like,
finally
guys,
not
let's just
working
stop
on
making
Need
really
for
mediocre
Speed.
Need for Speed games and actually do Burnout.
By
the way, if they make a new Burnout, I hope they bring back like the more old-fashioned crash mode, because I didn't like the one in Paradise where you just bounce a car around. I like the one in Burnout 2 where you actually hit something and then cause a wreck that way.
Yeah, and then it like totals up like how much dollars in damage you
freaking like $20 million
really cool.
wreck because a bus crashed into a semi.
Yeah. That was really cool.
I love the old-fashioned crash modes. Yeah, that's my Burnout experience. All right, questions.
So, first up is Jay Sway. He says, so it is clear that Nick and Bronson are getting tired of the first-person shooter genre. What could someone do to earn your interest back? And how excited are you for E3? We are fucking losing our minds. Like, it's all
we don't sound like it because it's late, but freaking in a few days, we're in in a few days, Bronson and I, Bremen and Kyrie, we're going to be in Los Angeles. In a few days. Less than a week. Like I said, it's kind of surreal in a way. Because, for us, it's like, oh, we're not going to go to E3 and we'll just do coverage at home and we'll just watch through camera lenses, E3. But no, we're actually going to be there and physically be there and actually see these things. It's like, whoa. It's actually happening. The gaming convention, the gaming trade show. Yeah, it's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, and I'm super excited. Like, it's all I think about at work. Most of my coworkers do not give a shit. I've just been talking with them about it. How fucking stoked I am. Yeah. As for the FPS genre question, something has sparked my interest. They're remaking Unreal Tournament. So everything's kind of trended to either being like Halo, where it's kind of arcadey but kind of realistic, or full-on realism. What happened to going 1,000,000 miles an hour, fighting on an asteroid with 2 giant fucking towers at 1,000,000 miles an hour with just crazy-ass guns? Oh. Where did that go? What happened to a rocket launcher that fired like 5 rockets at once? What happened to a gun that fired electricity, and then when you shot that ball of electricity, a giant explosion happened? What happened to a gun where you would shoot your teammate using the same gun, and it would make his gun twice as strong? Oh, and it was a laser.
Wow.
What happened to the NinCat nuke? The shooters got too serious. They need to be dumb.
I agree. They're all about modern military, and it's just...
Well, it's not modern military anymore.
tiring.
It's about advanced
future
military.
Yes.
Yeah, but...
like, Team
Which
Fortress,
Black Ops 2, I think, did okay.
Black Ops 2 was pretty good. Like, that was, that was alright. But, like, even then, like, Team Fortress 2 was the last shooter where it was like, let's be wacky. And I missed that, because it was fun. BO2 is still fun.
Like, for me, like, a shooter needs to have, like, a very nice sense of fantasy, or... Fantasy is not the right word. Sense of imagination about it. Like in the case of Halo Reach and Star Wars, heck, Star Wars, yeah, you could dream up a lot of things about Star Wars. I mean,
Most of
it's
it's
good.
bad,
It's
but-
good Star Wars, and same thing with Halo Reach. It just kind of had that same. Well, I wouldn't say same, but it has that sense of, you know, this isn't your world. This is a new world that's cool and very, very nicely made. Like apparently that's the kind of shooter I would like, you know, it just kind of has like that cool sci-fi or fantasy, whatever, has that cool professional touch to it. At least that's what I think. An FPS would interest me. Like something like Borderlands didn't really click with me. So
like Borderlands 1 did not. Borderlands 2 did. Because Borderlands 2 kind of went like crazy, and that's what I want to happen. I miss crazy shit. Like someone needs to Saints Row a shooter. You know, that needs to happen. Oh. All right. So next up is Cray T. What's up with Microsoft announcing Forza, Halo, and Quantum Break before E3? You guys are lucky to be going. They must have a hell of a show planned. Yeah, we talked about that at length. I felt.
I kind of feel bad for making that "you guys are so lucky" comment. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't feel bad. Like no, they you know, it's a term of like, it's a nice way to say I'm jealous, but I wish you guys well.
Anyways, yeah, like in the case of Halo and Forza and Quantum Break, I'm like, what I would like E3 to be is a place of exciting new announcements that are going to surprise people. But I think the way the industry is these days and the way that marketing runs stuff, it's not really like that anymore. E3 is not exactly surprise announcements. E3 is like, okay, you know the game is coming, now here's a trailer.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Like,
last
year,
in some
when they
ways,
showed,
it kind of feels like that because
when
it's
they
like
showed
we're going to talk about Halo instead of showing you a trailer of it.
But here's the thing: last year when they showed Kingdom Hearts and Killer Instinct, I was just like, "Fuck yes!" You know, cover me in your Killer Instinct goodness. And then I think Bridget's reaction to Kingdom Hearts says everything about Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. I don't know though. It just kind of like E3 doesn't feel like it was like this chest of surprises like it used to be.
Well, yeah,
especially now when you got like leaks,
the
and
internet,
and when you've got the internet just saying anything and everything just to.
I mean, like,
spoil it.
I think Nintendo and I don't know. Even then, I think the E3 still has a lot of mystery because last year there were a lot of that. Like, we didn't see that Project X. We didn't know Mario was coming. We didn't know, like.
Well, that's Nintendo. Because Nintendo just has that cool thing that says, we know. It's like when we talked about the rumors. Oh, they say there'll be a Zelda in 2015. Yeah, everybody knows there's going to be a Zelda eventually. We just don't know what kind of Zelda it's going to look like.
Come on, Wind Waker 2. Let's make this happen.
I don't want Wind Waker 2, please.
See this
freaking.
Actually, Majora's Mask 2.
That was like my first thought. I'm just like,
unhappy.
They're teasing everybody with Majora's Mask. Everyone wants a remake for the 3DS, and then they teased it a bit in, Link Between Worlds by putting a Majora's Mask in Link's house.
Smash.
Like piss everyone off and just take like the unconventional Zelda game that was actually good and make a sequel to it.
I mean, like, how great would it be? Oh, yeah,
you get to watch in 1080p. Termina is in grave danger because the moon's going to crash down on it again.
You've watched the game theories about that game, dude. That game is nuts. Moving forward with the questions, though, from Kyo Tenchi, I hope that Microsoft or Sony announces a third option in the stream function that allow you to stream directly to your PC using an app, making it easier to capture everything and stream at the same time. Had many bad days with capture cards.
Hey, we used the Roxio game capture device after using it for about 2 years. We totally can understand. Freaking the thing.
Yeah, I don't think the Roxio capture card was built to do what we're doing with it. I mean,
let's be honest here.
Every week we're going to stream for 4 hours.
Here's the thing: is that when I reviewed it, I gave it an 8.5, which that was my thought at the time. Basically, I said, just don't use the editing software. Just if you're only capturing with this thing, great. If you're using the editing software, well, you're going to absolutely have some problems there. But after seeing all the bugs, after seeing that the audio and the video don't exactly sync 100% perfectly, seeing that it crashed on us, seeing that it doesn't record when I tell it to record, then we have to start over.
Yeah, Mugen Souls, that was great.
It's like a 7.5 kind of product.
Yeah, like
if you're using it like we do, it's like a 7.5.
Like, yeah, that's the thing though. Like, we're using this thing for what's essentially professional use. Honestly, I would like us to. So this is what I'm thinking. And don't ever everyone. This is not happening anytime soon. Do not get your hopes up. Okay, but I am thinking eventually, Anthony and I invest in a better capture card, and then we make Bremen and John show team number 2. So that way we have 2 groups of people producing shows instead of just one.
Yeah, we could experiment with that in the future.
Yeah, so, but with Anthony still editing everything.
Yep.
So,
editing everything, posting everything. Woo.
But yeah, like first off, it would be more content for you guys overall, and it'd be more diverse content. And Bremen and John are well liked, especially Bremen. And I think being able to showcase them a little more would be kind of a good thing. So
I agree.
This is not happening anytime soon because Anthony and I are poor. But
oh, this is funny. Sorry, I'll have to show you guys this when we're going with this question.
But for sure, definitely look into that. But I don't think it'd be that useful. Like, they already have it so you can save on the system and then copy straight to a USB drive. Granted, you can only do up to 15 minutes. Anyway, looking forward to the new IP, but what old IPs are you hoping that will bring back? I'm hoping for Kung Fu Chaos, Space Station Silicon Valley, Brave Fencer, Musashi, or another Misadventures of Tron Bon. Hell, just make them HD if anything. A man can dream.
Yeah,
all
Bronson
right.
and Nick are definitely dreaming Heavenly Sword.
Yeah, Heavenly Sword, Cameo.
Oh, I love
that. Downhill Domination. What games are games I like that haven't got a sequel? Another Brutal Legend would be pretty sweet. There's a lot of good stuff.
I don't know of any old IP because let's be honest here, a lot of my gaming history kind of started more in 06, and even then there were like big franchises like Legend of Zelda, Smash Brothers, Mass Effect, Dragon Age.
Anthony, you should track down an original Xbox game called Jade Empire. I think you would like it.
I might. I think like the only game I can think of off the top of my head right now that is new IP is Dragon's Dogma, but that's not too far ago. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Jade Empire on the computer is $15. So in a Steam sale, that means it's gonna be like $2.
Yep.
Wow, it actually does not have the specs required to run this game. That's funny.
It's really old.
Here it is. All right, the recommended specs. Oh man, this thing. Anthony, I'm not sure if your computer can handle it.
Okay.
3 gigahertz Pentium 4.
Ooh, that's barely.
1 gigabyte of RAM.
Oh, I'm good on that.
A DirectX 9 February 2006 card, either an ATI X600 or an NVIDIA GeForce 6800 or higher.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually using the specs from my 2005 Windows XP computer that's in my closet.
Okay.
Which has a 3.06 gigahertz Pentium 4 processor with hyperthreading. It has a GeForce GT220, which is from 2009, so that's good. It has 3 gigs of RAM, which is like the most you can put in that thing because, well, 32-bit operating system. So if I were to put it on my old Windows XP computer,
Run fine.
It'll barely run it. Barely.
Yeah, I don't know. That game, it was by BioWare, and it was an action Western RPG set as like you were an aspiring martial arts master, and you could choose to be good or evil and all that good stuff. Basically, it was the game they made before Mass Effect.
Yeah, I know.
So,
like early 2000s BioWare was Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic and Jade Empire.
Jade Empire. Yeah, you should play Jade Empire. It was the last game before Mass Effect. Next up is Solid Kratos. He did not send us a novel this time. He just
he did send us something else that you're going to need to read.
All right, so hey guys, long time no type or questioned whatever to the question smiley face. With E3 around the corner, new games have been announced, and I have noticed that games have been delayed, like Batman and The Order, as well as new games with a 2015 release date. I know E3 will be epic, but it just seems to me just like let's hype next year instead of this year. The only thing coming is Destiny. Do you think similarly, or what are your thoughts? I think that there are going to be plenty of great games to enjoy this year. You know, we're still not done with The Walking Dead or The Wolf Among Us. Smash is coming, Bayonetta is coming, Anthony and I's dream crossover of Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem is coming.
If it plays like Fire Emblem, I'll love it. If it plays like Mega 10,
what if it plays like some weird mutant hybrid?
A chessboard game with Shin Megami Tensei like themes to it.
That's hard as hell.
God damn. Oh my goodness.
Because I'm already terrible at those games, but let's just make them super difficult.
Yeah, let's just make a chessboard game, except this time you're talking about Jack Frost. Ugh.
But hey, you know what's better than Jack Frost? Black Frost.
Great.
And King Frost. Have you got to see King Frost yet?
No, I haven't.
What up, ho? He-ho? Okay. You don't pay attention when you summon you don't pay attention when you summon the creatures, do you? They all say different
I haven't
things.
even gotten that far. That's why I don't know.
Oh, well, have you summoned a Jack Frost yet?
Like the regular one.
Yeah, he says, how you doing, ho? He-ho?
Okay, well, in Mega 10-4, I didn't hear him say that.
Okay, well, I'm talking about, yeah. He says different stuff depending on the game, but they all say different crap when you make them in Persona 4. You know, like, I summoned Lucifer and Satan, and they were both like, raw, eat your soul. It's just like, Anthony, do you remember that moment during the endurance ride? It's just like, hey, Ryan, we're going to summon Satan. Have fun, kids!
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I don't know, I think that there's going to be enough to keep people happy, especially, apparently, this is just my holiday season because of all the niche titles. I am the one I am pissed about is Batman, because I'm a huge Batman fan. I have the Killing Joke, I have the Dark Knight Returns, I've read the comics, I love the movies, and that game delayed sucks. And it was supposed to come out on my birthday, which continues the fine tradition of games supposedly supposed to come out on my birthday, game delayed. Happened with Fable, happened with fucking Grand Theft Auto 4, happened with so many fucking games, it's unbelievable. The only time it didn't happen was with Uncharted 2. So, I don't know, what about you guys? Like, I think the rest of this year will be pretty good, despite all the delays.
Yeah, there's a lot of delays. I mean, this year is definitely not going to be as good as it used to be, as it was shaping up to be. I'm really stoked for Destiny and Far Cry 4, but yeah, I agree. It definitely wasn't the year that it was going to be. 2015, on the other hand, oh my gosh.
Kingdom Hearts 3, Batman, Metal Gear,
The Phantom Pain,
Halo,
Uncharted. Oh my god. Like 2015 is just gonna be
Zelda, like 2015 Zelda. Hello, oh my god, just dear Jesus. But like, still, yeah, there's plenty of good stuff this year. Don't get all up in arms about it. Like, there is legit stuff to play. And then, oh, hold on. So, what are you guys posting in chat?
Yeah,
Oh, Nick
so
posted
EA
first match.
posted their first screenshot, Man NFL 15, and I'm calling bullshit.
I call super mega bullshit.
Yeah,
Are you kidding?
the EA tweeted it, and they call it. They say that's the first screenshot, but I am calling bullshit.
Yeah, no way. And even if it does look that good, you know it's not going to play as well as 2K5 does still.
There is no way that shit is gonna look that good. That is so funny.
Can I talk about something here? Like, I booted up 2K.
Look at this, Bronson. Look at this. Here's the link. That's a screenshot of Madden NFL 25 on PlayStation 4, and then now this screenshot. Look at the difference.
Yeah, that ain't happening. No fucking way.
I'm sorry, but that shit is not happening. That is funny.
No, I like Biggie sized it too on my monitor here.
Yeah,
like, way.
I'm sorry. Like when they said,
tweeted, I was like, if EA actually has Madden NFL 15 looking this good, I will praise the Madden franchise for once. If they can get the game looking this good, okay, I'll give.
Yeah, but
Madden...
like, if they get it looking this good, how shitty is it gonna play? Because you know they don't have the resources to do both. You know, like that's.
I just looked at the picture. I'm just like, wait a minute. Why wasn't this was the Ignite engine you promised? Yet the Madden 25 ran the Ignite engine and only looked like a slightly improved Infinity engine. So how did you just magically wave your wand and all of a sudden Colin Kaepernick looked great again?
Yeah, like I can understand how the game would look better as you have more time to work with the new hardware, but I'm sorry, like that no way.
Yeah, like and what's sad about this is it's not going to play as well as Madden or 2K5 because I booted up 2K5 recently on the original Xbox. Still, those things Madden doesn't do. Still, that game is 10 years old. 10-year-old video game. Man, still doesn't.
This screenshot is funny.
This is just like now.
They're saying it's the first official screenshot. Well, EA. Freaking less than a week from now, we will I will be playing this game. If this shit does not look this fucking. If I play the game and that shit does not look this fucking good, I am fucking blasting them on Twitter.
Did they?
Hey Nick, do you want us to play a Madden game in front of me versus you in front of the developers? do you want to?
Well, it was funny is for the Madden demo last year. So they had the full demo for Madden NFL 25 on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, but if you wanted to play the next generation version, all you could do was like run like it was like practice squad with Adrian Peterson. With Adrian
that was
dumb. It was like so stupid. But I was like, man, I really hope they have a good demo. And I swear, like, if I go and play, that shit looks this good, okay, I'll fucking tweet and be like, yo, fucking EA step their shit up. But I'm sorry, like there's no freaking way. They're like, no, I'm sorry.
So fun story. I have beaten a Madden developer in Madden.
I believe it. You're too fucking good at the game.
It was Madden 12. I was at PAX 2011, and he was playing the Green Bay Packers. You know, because they have time and they'll play demos with people if no one's coming to play with them or coming to play. And like. Dude played as the Packers, and I played with the Broncos, and I made Tim Tebow look amazing. So next part,
like the thing I always thought about, like, did they screen cap that from their Ignite engine demo from the Xbox One review when all that dude was talking about sports. And sports.
All it says is Colin Kaepernick's new contract changes the game. So does Madden 15. Here's the first official screenshot.
Here's
I'm sorry. The Ignite engine in Madden 25 looked slightly better than the Infinity engine, and I'm just like, okay. Well, maybe you shouldn't be calling it the Ignite engine then, because if the game actually does look that good, then why use the Ignite engine in 14 when it's just Infinity? Just call it Infinity Full HD or something.
Well, Well, we'll just say this way. Tuesday, we'll know. Tuesday, we will be freaking. We have an EA booth tour, and we'll be able to actually play the game. So,
can I play against one of the developers again?
I
That would
don't
be.
know.
It's
But
just.
yeah, I just saw the screenshot, and I'm just like, there's no fucking way. That's funny,
No,
EA.
absolutely,
That's really
yeah.
funny.
Like, that's the kind of
Especially
work.
when you view it compared to last year's, it's like, yeah, that's funny.
So,
So
If
funny.
if it is real, then that kind of goes back to what Bronson says. Maybe it's going to look good, but it'll play exactly the same.
So, but we do have another part of this question. Second off, I've come into some money, grad money. Anthony, I know how that is. It's fun. And I've been wondering whether I should get a PS4 or a PS Vita, since I'm meaning to get a handheld for a while, and since all these new games won't be coming out in 2015, I can just wait. What is your opinion? Get a 3DS if you are getting a portable.
We talked about it a lot.
We haven't brought this up in a while.
No, we talked about it a lot as far as the Vita's life.
Oh yeah, well,
or what little life there is.
Look, Vita has plenty of life. It's just a very specific type of game is on it. The 3DS has a fucking constant stream of great games coming to it at all times, and it has virtual console games, and it's cheap. And Smash Brothers is coming to it, and just there's so many good 3DS games: Ocarina of Time, Super Mario 3D Land, Super Mario. Mario Kart 7, Star Fox, Theater Rhythm, Kingdom Hearts, Resident Evil Revelations, Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, what am I missing here, Anthony? Zelda, A Link Between Worlds, Luigi's Mansion, just the list, Project Cross Zone, Shin Megami Tensei 4, Fire Emblem. Like, there's a reason, it was the best console last year. It's like, if someone didn't own any game system and said, I want the best games right now, like right this instant, I would say get a 3DS.
And it's only $170.
Or $200 for the XL.
And it comes with storage. 2 gigabytes of storage.
Or 4 on the XL.
Yes. And it is upgradable for cheap. Like $32 cheap, actually.
So,
I think I got my 32 gigabyte SD card for like $20. Guess what? 32 gigabytes of storage for your 3DS for only $30. Hey Sony, how much does your 32 gigabyte
double
cost?
that, $60.
Okay, I think I looked at the price.
Amazon,
I think I looked at the price of the 64s, and that was
$100. It's 80 to 100.
Dear goodness.
So I'll talk quick. I do have nice things to say about the PlayStation Vita, though, and I do use it frequently. There are some games on the Vita where the highs are incredibly high. Luminous, Little Big Planet, Persona 4, Guacamelee, Thomas Was Alone. They're all great games. And yes, you can get some of those on other platforms, but they play best on the Vita. Thomas Was Alone is the game best played on a handheld. Same thing with Guacamelee. Same thing with a lot of games. Luminous Electron Symphony is one of the best puzzle games I've ever played. Persona 4 The Golden is the best game I have ever played. Little Big Planet Vita is the best version of Little Big Planet. It has great, Dragon's Crown is a solid RPG. In fact, if you like JRPGs, I would say definitely get a Vita, because you have all those PS1 classics, you have a large library of PSP games, and for whatever reason, NIS and Atlas continue to support it with tons of RPGs. The system itself looks great. Even the Slim, I would recommend getting the Fat, but the Slim does have a great looking screen for an LCD. It's a sturdy handheld. It looks good. Its multimedia options are strong, even though the interface can be kind of weird at times. And it does have a great library of games. It's just that you really have to search for them. What was that satisfaction rate with the Vita, Anthony? What was 90%?
That is extremely good for consumer electronic.
Yeah, like that's crazy. Like that's more satisfaction than a lot of Apple products get. And Vita owners buy a lot of games. It's just once again, they aren't going to be Uncharted or Killzone. They're going to be Guacamelee. They're going to be Thomas Was Alone. They're going to be Lone Survivor or Demon's Gaze or Danganronpa. So if you like niche titles or indie titles, it's an amazing system. If you like RPGs, it's a great system. Sony franchise is another reason to get it. But like, if you like sat there and said you could have one 3DS or Vita, I take the 3DS almost every single time. That said, the Vita, if you want to buy one, it is a great handheld. There have been, but like the most impressive titles for it are largely the indies or kind of niche games. Like
I think you kind of pointed it out when you said, if a person ever says, "What system should I get?" Get a 3DS. Zelda, Mario, Fire Emblem, Animal Crossing. More Zelda. And like I would like list all that top of my head, and everyone and those guys would be like, "Yeah, Mario, Zelda." Whereas with the Vita, you actually have to explain to them what the games are.
Yeah, like okay,
going back to the whole like PlayStation 4 and Vita bundle. There's a leaked ad from Best Buy. Supposedly next week there will be a PlayStation 4 and Borderlands 2 Vita bundle for $559.
That's really solid.
So
Well,
it saves
$559,
you
not $599.
Yeah, so it saves you $40.
So I mean, like someone did is so like, oh man. I mean, this is a little bit outdated, but like IGN did top 25 PlayStation Vita games last year. So like take this top like, I mean, I'll go through this list. Gravity Rush, niche game, really fun game, gets me a little motion sick sometimes. Good story, looks great, but still kind of appeals to people who kind of like that Japanese design philosophy. The Metal Gear HD collection. Okay, Metal Gear 2 and 3 are two of the best games ever, especially Metal Gear 3. Great to have it on the road. Spelunky. Hey, Anthony, tell us how addicted Kenneth is to Spelunky.
He is so addicted that he's actually constantly working to be top 10 on those leaderboards.
Consistently, years later. Okay, PlayStation All-Stars, we've talked to death. Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. Sly Cooper 4, in my opinion, is the best Sly Cooper. And it's on the Vita. In fact, in fact, you actually liked that game when we did 60-minute access of it, I believe, right? Like, you were the one
I really like those cartoon cutscenes.
The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead Season 1 and 2 are on Vita. They have some technical issues, but they're still good games.
Okay, so
I'll fast forward it to the top of the list. Let's get the Raymans. Those are great. Luminous, it's great. Guacamelee was one of our top 10 games of last year. Sound Shapes. Sound Shapes is so much better on the Vita than it is on any other platform. Little Big Planet Vita. Uncharted is a great game. It still holds up. And Persona 4 Golden. Like that is still the killer app for that system. Like, if you want the best possible Persona 4 experience, like, that's it. Oh, Final Fantasy X HD. Like, that goes back to the example, though. Like, the Vita has great games. Just you have to describe why they're great, and they're for a very niche audience. And it's expensive as hell. But if you like those games, or want to try those games, I would encourage you to get it, because I've been playing Muramasa, and it is awesome. I'm looking forward to Season 2 of The Walking Dead on the road. I've been playing Final Fantasy X HD on it. I beat, you can ask any of my coworkers, until Pokemon came out on the 3DS, I was obsessed with Sound Shapes at AT&T. So, I don't know, what about you, Nick? You have a Vita?
Yeah, I haven't even touched my Vita in forever. I think, the last time I turned it on was just to mess around with remote play with the PlayStation 4. But Little Big Planet on the Vita is really, really good. Gosh, I haven't touched that thing in so long.
I mean, also it does play PSP games, so I mean that could be a big plus if you didn't own a PSP. Um, I mean, what are the freebies for like Pixel Junk Shooter? That like play, yeah. Then you got the PlayStation Plus freebies. Like if you've been downloading those consistently, then yeah, those are rad. Um. Anyway,
It's just
I don't.
most of like the good games on the Vita like don't appeal to me. It's like your
Yeah,
Persona 4 the Golden, Flunky, like those type of games don't really sound shapes. Like those aren't my type of games.
yeah. Like so, and Solid Kratos. Like I don't know your game taste that well, but from what I've seen, you do kind of tend to like a lot of niche titles. So you might want to check out a Vita. And if you do, I would say like off the top of my head, not really thinking about it, I would say Persona 4 Golden, Luminous Electronic Symphony, Guacamelee, Sound Shapes, and Little Big Planet would get those five, and you'd be set for a while. So. Oh,
Yeah.
and absolutely invest in the biggest possible memory card, because yeah, 16 gigs, that was a mistake. So, or should you just get a PS4 now?
Yeah, like I said, I even use my Vita for Vita games. I can't remember the last time I played a Vita game on my Vita.
Wasn't it Killzone?
Yeah, that probably was it, Killzone. Which that game's
Yeah,
actually really good.
last one that I used that for a game that I was actually excited for and not required to play for review was Danganronpa, which was in February. But so take that how you will. Versus my 3DS, I used for Mario Golf, which came out a couple weeks ago. I don't know, Anthony. You don't own either system, so what would you do? Would you just get a PS4 now, or get a Vita then get a PS4 later?
I would prefer to get a PS4 because it seems to have a better future, and now I want some sleep.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
You don't have anything to do tomorrow. Don't give me that.
Actually, I do. I have to get ready to leave for our trip to Los Angeles.
Get ready really early. Wow.
Well,
okay.
yeah, you don't want to forget anything now, do you?
Yeah, that's true. I don't have work till 1 in the afternoon tomorrow, so.
Yeah. I would
anyway.
get I would get a PlayStation 4 because at least that system kind of still has an early lifespan and things will look very good. Whereas with the Vita, it's like, I don't know.
I think it also very much depends on your taste in games, Solid Kratos. Like, I mean, that's such the qualifying thing. When anybody asks me, like, should I buy this system? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what games you like. Why are you yelling at me? Who are you?
Who are you?
But yeah, like last year during Game Expo, people were asking us, like, should we buy a Wii U? And I was like, I don't fucking know. Do you like Nintendo games?
Yes, then totally buy one.
Then yeah, sure. Wait for the Zelda bundle that's gonna happen, and it happened. Like, should I buy an Xbox One? Like, do you really like Killer Instinct? Yes, then yes. So yeah, I think that's all our topics.
All right, guys. Well, that concludes our pre-E3 show. This is the last episode of Unscripted Access before E3, so we thank you all for listening. Stay tuned to our E3 coverage.
We will have press conference grades and impressions and eating challenges. It'll be great.
I'm gonna so lose at the eating challenge.
Oh, dude.
I can't eat as much as I used to. I found that out recently.
I found out if we're gonna walk as much as we're gonna walk at E3, I'm gonna be able to eat. Oh yeah.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for listening. We are out.